Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope!
I put my heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that damn pure
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, that wasn't the weekend anybody expected, was it? I feel like I can say that and get away with it, with a blanket statement. Nobody really had the weekend that you were expecting. If you are an Arkansas Razorback football fan, yeah, no doubt about that. Who knows? Maybe you had fun doing other things. Maybe the tailgate was enjoyable. Maybe it was fun just being back in the stadium for the first time in a little over a month and watching the Razorbacks roll over Liberty. At least that's what so many of us expected. And I remember when we looked back at the start of the season and just kind of looked at the schedule in front of you, I don't remember anybody that ever called in or texted in or any of us on these airwaves that said, yep, I'm going to put that down as a loss. And now what do we have for the next few weeks? But hey, basketball season begins today. And it's a happy Monday-ish in halftime land. And let's say hi to the boys in the studio. Good to hear. What's up, Matt? Matt, the Matts, how you guys doing today?
We're doing great, and it's going to be a tell of one halftime today. And we're going to give it all for the full 3 hours.
Doing well today, Phil. Doing well.
You sound a little bit bummed out, Matt Jones.
Did
you
something
really
happen
do.
that got you down?
Nobody wanted to golf yesterday. Everybody was just kind of like, "What's going on?" You know,
it was that day after Malaise, wasn't it?
Oh, they're like, I drank an extra bottle of vino. I can't golf anymore. It's like, yeah, okay, you gotta just destroy. Like Matty T said, you just got to destroy the tape. Just burn it.
You can't really burn the tape on Monday necessarily. We're going to have to run through some of the stuff that happened on Saturday with, really when you look at it, just a miserable first half in so many ways. And while the offense was able to get moving a little bit in the second half, too little, too late, defense played well enough, and what are you going to do? I kind of feel now, and I hate looking at it this way, but we kind of already had put the bowling ball in the locker, so to speak. All week leading up, we wondered if there would be an appearance of Larry the bowling ball. Right now, Larry's been put away in a leather case and stashed away into the closet for the time being because, honestly, the pressure's on right now. I mean, in a way that I have not felt since Sam Pittman has been the head coach at Arkansas. I think you might have felt a little bit of that after the Auburn loss last year. But, they responded immediately, and we've seen them respond after a 3-game losing streak this season. But, I don't think anybody really expected what we saw. And now I'm looking at a 5-4 team, Matt, with 3 games left. And it is no guarantee that this is a postseason football team right now. You get a hot LSU team next week. You get an Ole Miss team that has a heck of a lot to play for, and I know they'll get Alabama this week too, and then going on the road to Missouri, which I think is a bit of a wild card right now, the way we've seen Arkansas play up and down. So, it really did feel, Matt, going into this week that it was a foregone conclusion Arkansas was going to play in a bowl game. We were just like, all right, it's just a matter of which one. I'm not too sure about it now.
Something with the moon or the tide or something had changed. I don't know. Everybody just seemed a little off, a little like they just thought they were just going to come in and be like, We just beat Auburn. I don't know what it's. I mean, you had a lot to play for there. They still do. They can still get to 6 wins. I just don't know what you saw out there. It was just a weird. It was just like they didn't get going, and then they'd get a play like my golf game. I'd get a swing and hit 2 good shots, and then couldn't hit a third good shot, and then it's a fluke play. Let's be honest. Trey Knox, he catches that ball. Nine out of 10 times, right? And then the time he doesn't catch that ball, it's like he just hands it to it's just a fluke. That was a weird thing that you could have got points there. I mean, I don't know. That 2-point conversion was tough too, but I mean, it was just
there's a lot of ifs.
Yeah,
there's a lot of ifs and those are probably the 2 biggest ones, but there's a lot other too, and questions about the ability to adjust in the run game. And I mean, look, you see some of the teams Arkansas has played this year, and they've still been able to run for well over 200 yards in all but now 2 games. But, I mean, I think we discounted the Liberty defense just because of the whole size and speed and SEC thing and everything. But the idea that they had performed well against their competition, man, it stood up. It stood up. They lived in the backfield, which was shocking.
Yeah, that was weird to see Liberty come in and kind of control both sides of the ball a little bit early on. You just didn't think. I mean, coaches would tell you that's what they look at, and you just didn't. I didn't think so. I mean, I hadn't seen a lot of game tape on Liberty, and it didn't look like they had watched much either. But they, I don't know. You just a home game, homecoming, so much to play for. You just gotta move on. You go get your sprints in and say we're not. I don't know. You just got to move on and start looking at LSU and put it behind you. That's the only thing you can do.
Well, that's what the team is probably.
That's what
hopefully doing.
Right.
That's
we can talk about it all week, but but the team, if you can't, you really just got to just put it behind you as a player, and say you just got to move on. That's all you got to do. There's nothing really to talk about. You just got to get back to work because you can make a bowl game.
You can. You need at least one win, but it no longer feels like a guarantee. It really doesn't. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't find a way to win 2 of the next 3 or all 3 of them. I mean, this is a crazy sport, a stupid sport when it comes down to it, and we've seen plenty of years where a hot LSU team has been slowed down by Arkansas, especially when coming into to the natural state. So hopefully that happens this weekend. We will open the phone lines later on in hour number 1. We're going to keep it here for the time being. I know there's a lot of pent-up anger and frustration, I think, amongst the fan base. So just hold on to that for the time being. And we'll have Mike Irwin in the next segment to get some of his thoughts on this. And then, hey, I mean, we're expecting a lot of reaction from listeners and fans throughout the 3 hours of this show. And I know Ruskin and Zach later on will kind of have the same thing. This is one of those days where, you got anger, you got frustration, and we're here to kind of let it out, give you an opportunity to let it out. And hopefully then we can be a little more copacetic for the next 4 days.
And is this the worst loss? I mean, we'll get into it, but under Coach Pittman, is this has to be the worst loss? His worst, yeah.
I think so. I mean, we pointed to the non-conference schedule under Coach Pittman. We forget that in 2020 there were no non-conference games, and I remember Notre Dame. A trip to Notre Dame was on that schedule initially. So who knows if that would have been the case? But maybe you beat the teams that were in front of you, and this year against the non-conference schools, you'd beaten some good teams. But there's no doubt. I think you would have probably accepted, not been happy about it, but a loss to Cincinnati, a team that the year before had been in the college football playoff and I mean, they become kind of a brand name amongst the G5.
We got lucky against Cincinnati's quarterback couldn't throw. I know we weren't doing the show then, Phil, but we got lucky against. I mean, Cincinnati. I don't know that we want to play Cincinnati now.
Well, and I mean, Missouri State is Missouri State. Again, give up the first 17 in that game, but came back and win. Loss on the road at BYU, on the road in Utah, in the mountains. We would have found ways to give excuses for that. A homecoming loss to an out-of-conference school really is just not, I mean, the word would be acceptable in this case. I understand Liberty was ranked 23rd. Their record now speaks for itself. But that is, we want to look at the other aspect, the other extreme of your question to me, Matt. Is this the worst loss in the Sam Pittman era? Yes, I think it is. Is this the biggest win in Liberty football history? Yes, it is, and it happened in Fayetteville. Like, one thing that I don't know if many people got a chance to see, which I did when the stadium had emptied and the Liberty players were finished celebrating and shaking hands and all of that, and they all were taking pictures with the scoreboard in view. I mean, these are the sort of things that are going to be on those players' mantles. They're never going to forget it. And it happened at Razorback Stadium. It's a bummer. These kind of things happen, but we didn't think it was going to happen this past weekend. So we'll see if they can bounce back. I mean, the script is right here in front of you.
And we'll get into it too, Phil. It seemed like we were holding on to the ball a little bit too much. I watched that Bama LSU game, and man, they had a lot of quick, but it just seemed like we weren't trying to use our speed against them. It's like, man, we had, I don't know. There's a lot of things we'll get to, but man, I don't know why you're holding on to the ball so much, you know. And then the running game was kind of Raheem was just going sideways, you know. It's like we're get that first cut. That's what Green was doing good. First cut, boom. And I'm not telling. I mean, Raheem is an awesome running back, you know. I mean, it's just everybody has their off days.
Yeah, and that was an off day, no doubt. And I think the worst half of football that we've seen Arkansas play, potentially. I mean, there have been a couple of others that would stand out too. And, of course, it was a huge Saturday in college football. Now you've got 4 unbeaten teams left. And after Tennessee has dropped and Clemson falls, TCU has the big comeback against Texas Tech. And now it's laid out in front of TCU, too, to be to crash the party. Really wants them to crash. I've decided I'm going to root for TCU the rest of the season and get into this Final Four. We're going to step aside for a break here on Halftime. Pig Trail Nation's Mike Irwin will give us his thoughts on Arkansas Liberty. And yes, hey, it is the first day of basketball season, and that's a good thing. So it's not all tears and sadness and wondering what's going to go on with football. Because basketball is starting and optimism abounds as far as the round ball is concerned. Mike Irwin will join Halftime next.
A man came up to me and asked me what the time was that was on my watch.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
We fought back. We took a punch, and we answered back.
He's going to go! Johnson's at midfield, and there he goes! 98 yards. Keith, wow. I saw it, but I'm not sure I believe it.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
When I'm governor, we will educate kids, not indoctrinate them with the left's agenda. We will empower parents, not bureaucrats. And we will prepare students for the workforce, not government dependency. I believe every kid growing up in this state should have access to a quality education, a good job, and a better life right here in Arkansas.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders will fight back against Biden and the radical left's agenda.
Inflation is a pay cut for every Arkansan, and Biden's policies are only making it worse. As governor, I'll begin phasing out the state income tax to give you a pay raise and unleash bold reforms to make Arkansas one of the best places to start and grow a business, creating thousands of new, high-paying jobs.
Fighting back against the radical left, empowering Arkansans. Sarah Huckabee Sanders for governor. Paid for by Sarah for governor.
This is Abby with Davis Floor Covering. Get your home or office looking its best for this football season with new flooring from Davis Floor Covering. Whether it's new carpet, hardwood flooring, ceramic, porcelain tile, or luxury vinyl planks, Davis Floor Covering can help you with all your flooring needs with brands such as Bow Floors and flooring supplies from Maupay. And let's get started on beautifying your office or home. We even do countertops. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Davis Floor Covering with 3 locations to serve you: Fort Smith, Springdale, and Tahlequah. Call 452-4808.
If you are looking for a tractor to fit your farm or property, from landscapers to ranchers, take a look at the all-new Bad Boy tractors, built tough to be a workhorse in the field. Bad Boy has a history of combining power, performance, and quality, and you will find that in every tractor they sell. See your local Bad Boy tractor dealer in Western Arkansas, Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma, or visit almatractor.com.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. Go Paschal.com.
Hey Arkansas fans, this is JD with JD's River Valley Restoration and Detail. We're hogs through and through and we like getting dirty, but our cars need to look clean and fresh. And that's where we come in. Come and check out our brand new expanded shop at 5606 Towson Avenue. Or you can follow us on Facebook at JD's River Valley Restoration for new updates including food trucks on the lot, car shows, detail courses, and much, much more. Give us a call at 479-629-7486. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. JD's River Valley Restoration, where we're making new relationships one vehicle at a time.
Are you ready to ride like a rock star? Then contact Luxury Limousines. Their 28-foot stretch limousines set up to 8 people. Once you're inside, enjoy superior sound, enhanced lighting, ice-cold AC, plus your own chauffeur to take you anywhere. College games, concerts, special events, and the upcoming Christmas holiday light tours. Just go to Facebook and like Luxury Limousine. Serving Fort Smith and all of Northwest Arkansas. Luxury Limousines.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
So per the door, I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? In the time of chimpanzees, but the monkey butane in my veins, so I'm out to cut the junkie with the plastic eyeballs and spray painted vegetables, dog food and stalls and beefcake and pantyhose.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Oh, that is not the cleverly send-up I would have wanted to hear today, but it's apropos. It's a solid choice by Matty T. Because that was a loss on Saturday, and it wasn't any fun. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation joining us here on Halftime. Hi, Mike. Help us make sense of that. What did you think after Saturday?
You know, what I thought Saturday night is a little bit different from what I'm thinking today, because I did go back on Sunday and look at the game again. That always helps. I also went to the ESPN website, and you can go in and look at every game, and you can do a breakdown play-by-play and see what happened here or there or whatever. And after looking at all that, you know, I've come to a few conclusions that were different maybe than I had on Saturday. First of all, we won't know this for a while, but I think Liberty's a lot better than any of us thought they were. They're going to go 11-1. I've looked at their schedule. I don't see anybody beating them the rest of the regular season. And then with that record, they're going to play somebody like Alabama, somebody that's just outside the playoffs. But when you're 11-1, you're going to get a good bowl opponent. So we'll see what they do against somebody else like that. But I do think they played really well. I think they had a good game plan coming in. I think they got a little bit lucky in that their plan was to really stuff Arkansas's running game and force Arkansas to throw. Normally that wouldn't help as much because KJ, for instance, has had 2 straight games throwing the ball really well. But whether he was sick last week with the flu, as some people have suggested, or whether or not it was a shoulder problem, and he didn't throw all week, and he looked like it early in the game. So there were a couple of issues there that caused the problem. And here's the other thing, guys. The bottom line is that game could have gone either way at the end. You know, you miss putting it into overtime by a micro inch or whatever it was, but suddenly that makes you terrible. So I know fans react differently. I've seen enough games to know that there was a post it was a Facebook. One of the guys that's on my Facebook friends list, I don't know him, but I looked at it in the middle of all this stuff, and I thought, wow, this guy, he posts something different. And he basically went back and broke down last year and pointed out several times where they had key things that went their way, which allowed the season to go the way it was. And then, therefore, because of that, everybody started talking about how great Pittman is and everything's going great. This year, you've had a missed field goal by a guy that doesn't miss field goals, and maybe a couple of crazy things in that. I mean, look at that pass to Trey Knox in the first half, second quarter, I think it was, went right off his hands and then bounced left into the hands of the guy defending him, just like, here's a gift. Then there was a third quarter backwards pass by Liberty that went off the hands of the running back, so that's really a lateral. And you got three Razorbacks around that ball, but it bounces right back into the guy's hands. So if it doesn't do that, Arkansas, maybe that changes the game. Or maybe, that official down there on the field who looked at the 2-point conversion, and I'm convinced in real time you just can't know. It was too close. So let's say he just, whatever reason, he goes the other way on that. Then you don't overrule that and say Arkansas wins. Nobody's mad. They may look back and go, it shouldn't have been that close, but everything changes and hinges on little bitty things. And so the perception that last year was great, they were making progress. This year, this coaching staff needs to be fired. Pittman doesn't know what he's doing. It's just football. It's the back and forth that fans sort of go with when these things happen.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody should be fired or anything yet. It's bad game. That's for sure. I don't know. When you went back and looked at the tape, what do you think of the offensive line?
Well, I think they faced a challenge that they hadn't faced before. I think these guys were using more technique and quickness, and Pittman said we knew they were going to do that. We knew they were going to try to spin out of the blocks. They're shooting gaps. They're using quickness to penetrate the backfield. It's the old idea, if I can out-quick you, I don't care about your size and your power, and I've seen that happen before. I've seen defensive linemen that can out-quick offensive linemen and do that. So there's a reason why that happened. Now, it took them a long time to adjust, but again, what are we talking about here? You're winning the fourth quarter, and you get right there. So, yeah, you screwed up, but you're almost right there at the end. So I'm not going to just say these guys are idiots. They screwed up. They got Arkansas in a hole, and that clearly was the issue early on, was the lack of a running game.
And I hear what you're saying about last year and the way that a lot of those games were won. And you're right about that. I mean, your record usually is decided based upon how you perform in the close games. And right now, Arkansas in the close games has had some trouble. I'm thinking A&M, and I'm thinking this last one against Liberty. The only thing about this is that, like, last year, you didn't have those close moments against non-conference schools. You handled Rice. You handled Texas. Georgia Southern, Penn State. And I guess you would have expected it maybe from like a Cincinnati. Nobody expected it from Liberty. That's why I agree with you. I think Liberty was a lot better than we expected because we're going by what their schedule is. And we'll find out a lot about it. I just don't think anybody expected there to be that close of a game against a team in their 6th year or 5th year as an FBS program. That's all.
I don't know, Matt. A question for Matt. I mean, coaches tell you all the time, okay, these guys are better than you think, but then you look, and they may be ranked, but you're a heavy favorite, and so what reason do you have to kind of think that? I mean, I guess it's up to the individual player, but I just know this is not unusual for players to look past the team because they're not, they're not an SEC team or they're not a Big 12 team or whatever. They're Liberty. And I read some stuff where fans said, I never heard of Liberty. How did we lose to them? Well, that's your problem if you've never heard of them because they're good. And look at Hugh Freeze. I mean, he beat Alabama twice. I mean, when they were good. So it's not like this guy's just anybody. He has a reputation of doing this. So I'm not trying to make excuses. I am saying that there's usually when you look at something a day later and you start looking at the overall thing, you kind of change a little bit, or I do, but I'm not a fan either. It doesn't just kill me when they lose. It's my job to kind of analyze it. I don't like it, but maybe I'm not as involved in that as they are.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's definitely tough as fans to watch. Do you think there's anybody out there outside of that Arkansas locker room that thinks we have a chance against LSU?
Probably not, including me. I watched that game, and I'm just amazed at how much better they've gotten from when I saw them earlier in the year. They've got the athletes. We've known that all along. They just had a bunch of problems there because they went from dominant national championship to crash and burn for, 2 straight years, and I'm going, whoa. And so you just assume that's what they are. But, I mean, Brian Kelly's proven he's a good coach, and he came in and he got them going, and, yeah, they're really good. That was no fluke there. Now, I still think Alabama beats them if that game is in Tuscaloosa. So some of that is the difficulty of playing in the swamp, or whatever that thing is called down there. But they're good. They're really good. Their quarterback he's a stud.
What do you think? I mean, I guess you got to say some positive things about the Arkansas defense. Second half, figuring it out and shutting them out. Who impressed you on that defense? Did you see what the adjustments they did to hold Liberty to 0 points in the second half, and kind of give us that chance, to come back, like you said?
Yeah, I think the defense has kind of slowly been getting better for 2 or 3 weeks. People are so mad at them, they don't give them credit for that. But McAdoo was a big adjustment. Look, wow, what a guy. I mean, and don't you just love that guy's attitude?
He looks like
he basically said it after the game. I don't care where I play. I went to them. I want to be on the field. So he's got a lot of talent, and you look at the difference he made in just one game. So that's kind of exciting. Now, fans are mad because they're saying the coaching staff was stupid. They should have had him back there earlier. Why did he have to go tell them? Why didn't they go to him? I don't know. I'm not out there watching these guys play. I'm not going to criticize some coach because he didn't look at a wide receiver and say, oh, he could be a good defensive back.
Mike, KJ didn't look himself. And we heard the reports about the shoulder, and he didn't throw much or practice all that much throughout the week. But it was no surprise he got out there and played. I mean, he was on the coach's show on Wednesday, and usually if you're on, they're not going to put somebody on the coach's show, especially if he's the quarterback, if he's not going to play on Saturday. But it wasn't just the throws. I mean, he was obviously off of the throws, short of the sticks quite often too, and just off. But he also just didn't seem as eager to pull the ball down and run when there might have been an opportunity to do so. We saw him stand there behind the line of scrimmage looking for an open receiver quite a bit. Held onto the football in ways that I don't remember seeing him do before.
That could be, and this was not asked, so I don't know, but it could be a simple thing of he's so beat up. They could have told him, look, we don't want you doing that anymore. We don't want you running right into people. You can run a little bit, but get down. And maybe that got in his head, and he was trying to stay in the pocket more. I do know that when it got into the fourth quarter and he knew he had to do something, he still did what he had to do. Mm-hmm. So it could be that.
We'll call a play. If you're an offensive coordinator, call it like a timing quick, call more quick passing plays where he's not holding on to the ball, because he was doing the same, right? We all saw it.
Yeah, absolutely. There were some things that I don't understand. I don't understand how you've got a running back. I realize he's not your stud. He's not your 1,000-yard rusher, but you got a running back that carried the ball 6 times, and 4 of those he went over 10 yards. And yet, why did he get 6 carries if he's doing that? And there had to be something a little bit in his running style that was a little bit different based on what they were doing. And maybe it was just that what their D-line, how they were trying to attack Arkansas's offense didn't work as well against him. But I was surprised we didn't see him more often. I'm not, again, saying that Rocket needed to just sit on the bench the entire game after the first quarter, but
well, he was, and you were right what you were saying, like as far as that the D-line are stretching him out, and they weren't and that's what the difference AJ did was he one cut and got past that first wave where Raheem was kind of using his patience or trying to go, let them quicken up. I mean, that's why. Right. So it's hard. I mean, as the coordinator, yeah, you got to see that and try to get, but you're right, because then you got Raheem Sanders, who's a stud. But that's what I saw. Yeah.
The other question I would have is what everybody said was at some point Malik should have come in the game. I don't know. You were a quarterback, Matt. Does it help you if you're not playing well?
If KJ's fine, if you don't have a plan, if KJ's fine, you're playing KJ unless you have a plan for Malik. You're not doing. I didn't see if KJ's if he's able to walk, that's your starting quarterback. Unless Malik has just been balling out in practice but KJ didn't do anything that I thought that was too. He didn't have a good game. It's not like he should be benched or anything. You know, I mean, he didn't have a good game.
And there's this theory that if you make somebody go sit for a while, they get better. I don't know if that's true or not.
But if you have a package for Malik, that's what we've said. That's what Malik should be used. That would have been a great time in the first half when we were going 3 and out, punt and whatever we're doing to have a package where you're like, all right, Malik, get in there for these 4 plays. It just changes it up.
Kind of throw a curveball at them.
That's what we needed. You didn't. I mean, I don't know. And then like the fluke play with Trey Knox. I mean, that's 9 out of 10 times at worst that's an incomplete. He just handed it to the guy. You know, it's just a total fluke. And Trey Knox catches that ball just about every. I mean, he's a stud. You know.
Yeah, that little things decide games sometimes, and you can't get away from that. It's what it is, and it's always different when you're watching than when you're on the field. It just is.
When games are decided by 1 point, there's like a million different points that you can point to that would say this was a huge portion of that, and I think that's the case in this last game. Mike, we'll leave it there. I appreciate you hopping on with us on these Mondays, and hopefully next week, we can talk about a big upset over LSU.
Hopefully I'm wrong about that game.
Me too.
Yeah, you and everybody else, I think. It's not just going to be you.
I mean, they play Bama. That's I think our thing with Ole Miss too. They play Bama. We're getting them off Bama. They're going to be beat up. Every time you play Bama, you're beat up.
That's true. And it's a good point that Mike makes about that game being in Baton Rouge as well. I mean, just think the 2 losses for Alabama, both coming on the road, and both really close games that came to the very last play. You still could be talking about Alabama and the national championship picture, although this isn't the year it's happening. It's because they were on the road for those 2 games. The phone lines are now open, 877-377-6963. We'll have your calls and texts coming up next.
The Powerball jackpot from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is now more than $1 billion. So, what would you do if you won?
I'd buy a baseball team.
Ooh, I would definitely buy my mom a Tesla so that she can drive cool, look cool.
If I won a jackpot, I'll start a cooking school for the youth in the city.
Got your ticket? If not, visit your local lottery retailer for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot of more than $1 billion. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source, LLC makes customers smile, 1 vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source, LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source, LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC, no problem.
Christina Katsavis is running for Fort Smith City Director at Large, position 5. And if you live in Fort Smith city limits, you can vote in the August 9th citywide Board of Directors election. Christina is a small business owner, wife, mother, volunteer, and community leader. All regular polling places will be open from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. A vote for Christina is a vote for your voice. Vote Christina Katsavis for Fort Smith City Director at Large, position 5. Ad paid for by Christina Katsavis Savas campaign.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. Go Paschal.com.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drugstore still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Randall Ford's the place to be if you're looking for the best of the best when it comes to a new car dealership. And got my buddy Tyler with me. And, you know, Tyler, if you're talking new trucks, Randall Ford has several to choose from.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of XLTs. We've got a Lariat in the back. We've got a brand new Ford Lightning available today.
Somebody's in the market wanting to look at that Lightning. That's pretty sweet, man.
Oh, it's the coolest, man. Huge screen. It's all electric. I mean, this thing will just flat out fly down the road. It is a good machine.
Somebody looking for a new Mustang. You also have a new Mustang in stock, and you have a Mach 1 in stock as well.
We do. We've got a Mach 1 out back. It's ready to go today, too. We also have a new Ford Maverick available today.
Yeah, the Ford Maverick is going to get tremendous fuel mileage and not cost you a lot of money.
That's right. It's a very payment-friendly truck, and the fuel mileage is just absolutely incredible.
There you go. Come by and ask for my buddy Tyler or one of the sales professionals today at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Well, they're lined up on the phone lines like Dixie cups for beer pong right now. 877-377-6963. Let's go right to the phones. You're on a Halftime Monday. Pick up the pieces Monday is what it kind of feels like. Charlie is up first. Hi, Charlie. Appreciate you calling back. How you doing?
I'm good. I tried to throw you a curveball, Phil. I mean, I tried to make you come out of your comfort zone a little bit there in that first segment and just throw me on. I don't know, or just let Maddie just kind of throw me on, even though you don't usually bring people on the first segment. I was hoping you might go for it. I mean, which pitches do you struggle with most, the curveball or the fastball?
It would be a changeup, a well-thrown changeup. So
okay.
That's what you tried to throw me. But here's the thing: the game hadn't started yet, as far as that was concerned. I was still taking batting practice with my friend Matt Jones here. So that's why you called back.
Just warming up.
Yeah.
Batting practice is over. Throw your curveball. Go for it.
Well, I'm gonna throw them, but I'm not gonna come in here calling here, and I know there's going to be a lot of negative calls, but I am going to be a little bit. Kind of stern and real
truthful.
with it.
You guys, hey, facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, Matt, you've been talking about this all year with this shoulder thing that KJ's dealing with, and since you've been on, and I want to ask you from a personal standpoint, do you think, obviously he's playing probably at about 60 to 70%, maybe, and do you think, like, as far as an injury-wise, it's probably like an AC joint? What are you guessing? I know he hasn't come out. They haven't come out and said it, but you dealt with it, and so they would numb you up, correct, on like a Thursday, similar to what they did.
I didn't take any shots. I had a great trainer, Eric, Dean Weber, and then Eric. But Eric really, they did this thing called milk, where it's this emu oil. I mean, it's I had to go in and do stuff just as much as practice.
To get
like
ready.
I had to do. I don't know what he's dealing with. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I know what I had to do to get ready, and it was about 3 to 4 extra hours with Eric and Dean in the treatment room a week just to get ready to play. Yeah.
Charlie, I don't think there's anybody who'd be able to diagnose the specific thing that KJ's dealing with in that arm based upon what you see on television.
Yeah.
But it's obviously something, because he did not look the same.
Well, I want to say this, though, Phil, before I get off here. I know you got a phone. Lions call it. I think they went into that game thinking, to be honest with y'all, I'm putting the onus on a specific group. What's the strength of this football team? It's right up front.
The O-line.
And I'll be honest with y'all, and I love every kid that starts on that group. They didn't play well Saturday. They were awful. They were awful. I mean, there's no other word to describe it. I mean, to me, and Matt, I know you sat there and on some of those runs, it just looked like they weren't even firing off the ball. It almost looked like I was watching some of the inside, the zone handoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there like, they're not even trying. Like, if I'm gonna miss a block, or if I'm gonna get beat, eventually I'm gonna just hold a guy, because I know they're slanting and all that. I get it, but you prepared for that all week. You knew it was coming. Matt, as far as a run scheme, to beat that, I know they're running inside zone, outside zone. That's their scheme, and I know they went to a little bit of a duo scheme there, and it started opening up some holes, but it was hit or miss. What about running against that look like a? I know sometimes they run that little counter backside, pulling the guard or a tight end or a tackle, kind of away from the slant. Why do you think they didn't maybe go to that? I think they went into this game thinking they could win this game and KJ not have to be great, but because they thought they could win at the line of scrimmage, and they should have, but they just didn't.
There's really no excuse in that, and I'd have liked to seen them change up and throw that package you got in with Malik. I'd like to, if he's been practicing with the first team a lot, then why wouldn't you? I don't know, you just got to change it. That we needed a change. It doesn't mean you're benching the quarterback or anything like that. But if Malik's good enough to change just any type of thing to change up, and I think they did. They schemed him up a little bit late, but they might have overlooked him. I mean, it's just I don't know what it's just a bad day kind of all around. Everybody kind of had a bad day.
There's one line open if you're trying to get in right now, 877-377-6963. We'll also take your text, and next up is Cody. Hey, Cody, what do you think?
Hey, guys. Appreciate y'all taking my call on a busy Monday morning. Hey, there's a couple things I think. First off, I'm going to give some kudos to Ty Richardson. It's nice to have somebody that's not affiliated with the U of A that's going to tell it how it is. At the end of the day, here's all that needs to be said. It's happened. He got the loss that he hadn't had yet, that he should have won. And there's two ways that this can go. Pittman will learn a valuable lesson here, and it will never have this issue happen again, or it's going to go the other way. And that's all there is to it. This is where you define yourself as a head coach. And I believe that he's got that ability. I'm all for keeping things behind closed doors. Attitude reflects leadership. There's trust to be built whenever you continually have your guys back. But at some point, you just got to look that person in the mirror, and you've got to make the decisions that make sure that the wrong things it doesn't go the wrong way. And that's the truth. I think he's got it in him. He's great at the offensive line. Up until this point, our offensive line had been great. In-game adjustments were not made with what their defensive line was doing. I am beyond impressed with that true freshman McAdoo. If everyone would have been playing like that, we would have won that football game. Now, here's the other thing that we can think about. At least we're not Texas A&M, boys. At least we're not Texas A&M. Could you imagine having a recruiting class? Could you imagine that? Thank God for that, Jones. Could you imagine having that recruiting class, spending that kind of money and looking like that in the public eye now, in national eye?
I'm going to second you on McAdoo, man. He looked good. He was probably one of the bright spots out there, and he's going to be good. I hope he's. We lost a couple D-backs last year in the transfer portal or whatever, but I hope he stays.
Cody, what was it that Ty said that you loved so much?
He just said it how it was, Phil. It was an unacceptable loss. And everybody wants to say, hey, it's okay, we're going to move on. Yeah, we'll move on, and Pittman needs to beat LSU. but a real football fan that understands it, reads between the lines, and looks at the bigger picture. If we beat LSU, I'm even more pissed off. Okay? So that's how you look at it. That's what's going on. And Ty didn't give in to, what the university's going to want to hear because he's got to go face them at a press conference. Truth be told, Pittman told us after the BYU game that Briles got 500-something yards of offense, and everybody was already critiquing Briles, and they have been for 2 years. Well, now he's eating his own words. Okay? And that's the truth of the matter. I never wanted to get to that point. But he just said, and BYU's terrible now. They gave up 40-something to Liberty. We had 3 points going into the fourth quarter, gentlemen. 3! But anyway, I don't even want to get like this. I appreciate y'all taking my call, and y'all have a good day.
Good to hear from you, Cody. 877-377-6963. Got a couple of other callers on hold. Let's take one of these calls, and then we'll have to break. Double D in Bentonville. Hey, Double D, what you got?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Love your show. Got about 9 comments I'll make real quick. The scheme that they were using, they used it because they knew KJ was not going to run the ball. They folded the read man back around the center and made the tackle on the dive backs. In other words, that one guy took the quarterback and the dive back, and our center and left tackle had no clue what they were doing. They just let him come free. That was pathetic. That's just coaching. Matt, this is for you. Why, when you go into a game, you script your first, 10 plays? They should be your best 10 plays, right? We have been terrible this year on our first 10 plays.
It's 5 games in a row now that they haven't scored on the first 2 drives.
Yeah, we've started slow for as a turnover or for whatever reason. I don't know. It's just I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, you should. I remember, who was the coordinator for Bielema? We'd always score the first drive. Then after that, we wouldn't score.
Usually, you have 10. You go over your 10 plays, 8 plays, 11, whatever you got, and usually you're pretty right on. Yeah, but we've had some weird first couple drives. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. This is the second game they've been out coached. Missouri State in this one terribly. One thing I noticed about Briles, he runs too many plays into the defensive strength by not having his kids lined up. There's several times we try to run a sweep with a wide open 9. Running up the field with nobody to block him. Hey, the running back don't have a chance. That's not the running back's fault. This again for Matt. Have the coaches lost their locker room? Because this team has not played well all year. I mean, you can cut it any way you want to. They have not shown any fire. They've gone through the motions. And could it be the NIL or the portal transfers? I don't know.
I don't think they've lost the locker room. I don't see any fighting on the.
Hard all year.
I don't see the kids not playing hard either. I see the kids trying. I see the defense flying around. They're trying. I think we're just not very good. I think if
they'd have lost the locker room, you wouldn't have seen them. Nearly come back in the second half.
Yeah, right, Phil.
Well, that's because Liberty wore out. I got a question about the evaluation of talent with the quarterbacks. One game. As a coach, you have to coach harder in these games than you do when you're playing Alabama. I mean, your hardest job is to get your team to play these lesser teams, and I don't think they did it. And and I'm going to disagree with you guys on the defense. We let a third-string quarterback who had not practiced all week and who had the flu throw 3 touchdown passes on 3 simple routes: smash route, post route, and a go route.
They were showing a lot of back shoulder if it was a slot or a thing. That a lot of back shoulder on the man. Yeah, that's a tough. When you're playing man coverage,
No.
that's a tough. You can't cover that.
The
That's
only
hard.
one of them they scored is because our cornerback bit on the out and go and then walked back to his man and didn't hustle, and the guy caught the ball in the end zone. That's his effort.
He's a coach. He's going to scheme him up. He schemed him up.
Good. I appreciate the phone call. We'll point out the negatives. I mean, 21 points has shut them out in the second half.
Liberty's better, and we're not as good as we thought we were. I mean, that's just kind of how. I mean, I don't.
I think the defense played well enough to have won a game. I think they shut down they shut down the Liberty run attack for the most part, and gave the team a chance to win. I mean, I think this one. I don't remember all the things Double D said there, but it might have been Cody. The thing that this team hangs their hat on is the offensive line and the ability to generate a push off the line of scrimmage. It wasn't there. And yes, outcoached is part of the story from this last game. We got to step aside and wrap up the first hour of halftime after this quick break.
Me wrong now, my love is strong now. You really got a hold on me.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partners. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out on the web at artriallawyers.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hardee's new Charbroil Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroil Double Deal, starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Need a little extra cash? Go see Rusty at Golden Gym Pond, 310 West Center in Greenwood. Get the money you need with loans on jewelry, guns, tools, and electronics. If you're looking for a gift, they have a large selection of jewelry to choose from, and Rusty can take care of all jewelry repair. Stop by Golden Gym Pond today, 310 West Center in Greenwood, or call 996-2792. Open 9 to 5:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and 9 to 3 on Wednesday. Golden Gym Pond.
The Arkansas Fraternal Order of Police stood tall and unified this week to urge voters to vote no on Issue 4. They're calling the campaign misleading to voters, and they warn of the harm it will bring to our children, along with even more unintended consequences we cannot afford. Stand with the police and vote against Marijuana Issue 4, paid for by the Family Council Action Committee.
No MSRP markup. At Road Chevrolet, we never price a vehicle over MSRP. Other dealers in our area mark vehicles over MSRP, taking advantage of the times we live in. Not Road Chevrolet. We believe in being honest and looking out for our customers. Wouldn't you rather get a great deal you can feel good about from a locally owned dealership that cares about more than just profit? Before you pay over MSRP, let us show you what we can do. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
There's something bad about to happen to me.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Callers have ruled the roost here in the first hour of halftime, and I appreciate Justin in Fayetteville staying on hold for as long as he has. So let's put him on. Hi, Justin. Thanks for the call and your patience. How are you?
Good. Hey, I'll kind of keep it quick. Like some of the callers beforehand probably stole a few of the points that I was going to make. But, two things for me. I was able to watch side by side the Georgia-Tennessee game and our game. And we're not too far from the starting point where Tennessee was. And to where they've made these leaps and bounds to be where they are against Georgia, even though it wasn't a great game, they still hung in there with them. And the talent level is insanely different from the game that was on with the Razorbacks. So, Pittman's probably a below-average coach with below-average players. And my point to that is, when do you take the next step in recruiting, or when do you take the next step in figuring out who's going to bridge the gap to maybe an elite-level coach? And the deal with Pitt, I compare him a lot to Mike Anderson in basketball. Probably a really, really good guy. I don't think he has any ill will, or people shouldn't be mad at him for doing what he's doing right now, but he may be the person that takes us to that next step. So that's my 2 cents on that. Matt, I got a question for you, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, but when you played banged up, what was your mindset? How much did a physical injury affect your mental side of the game? Because to me, it looked like KJ was banged up, obviously, but he wasn't there mentally. I mean, he made some reads that weren't there, and he made some time. He stood in the pocket for 10 seconds without even doing anything, and it's just not like him. So I'll hang up and listen and get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, like I said, it seemed like there was a change in the moon or something. But weirdly, whenever you're banged up, it kind of you focus. Like whenever my hamstring was hurt, it's like I actually would throw the ball better because it's like I knew I had to go 1-2. I couldn't rely on running the ball. And then when you're doing a check play or you're running one of those read plays, I was trying to hand the ball off or trying to make it to where I could pitch it to the pitcher. I was trying to take it out of my hands a little bit and let the other play. You try to get your team more involved. I think this it was just a bad. I mean, Liberty is better than what they are. Words you just. I mean, what do you say, Phil? I can
say it's been a cathartic first hour of the show, and I do wonder if Justin felt like that about Sam Pittman the week before, a shocking loss to Liberty. Is this the thing that decided his mind for him? We're going to wrap up the first hour and get into hour number 2 after this quick break.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Ride without compromise. CF Moto's brand new U-Force 1000 XL with 2 3-person bench seats to haul more rear ends as you haul butt. Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma has the perfect CF Moto for any road you choose. Get some serious mud on the tires with aluminum rims, custom paint, power steering, and a 3,000-pound winch. No wonder the CF Moto is Auto Finders' best-kept dirty little secret. Ride without compromise at Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma in Roland. Visit a complete list of inventories online at autofindersok.com. Your search ends here.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
This is Max Avery, and I approve this message. Inflation is out of control, violent crime is on the rise, and the opioid epidemic is only getting worse. It's become clear that we need to make changes, and the time is now. I'm running for state representative because I understand what you're saying, and I aim to make a difference. When we unite and focus on the issues at hand, we can make a positive impact on our community. For far too long, the people of District 49 have not had a seat at the table at our capital. I believe we can drastically cut taxes and still balance the budget. I believe we can have safe city streets while taking big steps to keep fentanyl from taking the lives of our loved ones. I believe we can pay our valuable teachers better and give parents a choice on where and how their children are educated. If you're unhappy with how North Fort Smith has been represented for the past decade, then I am the candidate for change. If you believe we can do this together, I ask for your vote on Election Day, November 8th. My name is Max Avery, and I'm running for state representative. Paid for by Avery for Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine across the north. Our high temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Further south, we're looking at clouds, a chance of showers, a few storms, and a high into the low 70s. Cloudy skies, low 50s north tonight, upper 50s south, and then an increase in the sunshine on Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The Hit That Line podcast network is now available on Pandora Music and Podcasts. Just open your app or browser and search Hit That Line.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I put my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Rock on three! 1, 2, 3! Turn that damn through, bro!
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Phone line staying open for the full second hour. You don't have any guests. We'll have Connor O'Gara, 1:15 from Saturday Down South, get his thoughts on the SEC races now, which seem to be firmly in the hands of the LSU Tigers and the Georgia Bulldogs. The LSU Tigers with a chance to win the West Division in Brian Kelly's first year. What a finish to that ball game, too. Back-to-back weekends with the Tigers fans rushing the field. Didn't make a lot of sense doing that against Ole Miss. Certainly did against Alabama. And, hey, Arkansas get a chance to play division spoiler over the next couple of weeks and still, at the same time, get themselves to a bowl game, which I think earlier in the season felt like a given. I don't think it feels like a given. And you can definitely count on at all. You can count on basketball being on this very radio station that you're listening to later on tonight. 7 o'clock, Arkansas, North Dakota State. Get things going at 6:30 with the Learfield pregame with Chuck and with Zim. The women's team is going to be in Pine Bluff at 6 o'clock. So you got both teams opening up today, one at home, one on the road, and then they'll both play on Friday with a doubleheader at Bud Walton Arena. All things being equal, Matt Jones, I think you and I are hopefully going to the basketball game Friday night.
Yes, sir.
The LSU game at 11 o'clock. It's like a doubleheader almost. I mean, a night basketball game at 7, the football game at 11 in the morning. So, hey, for me, when it's two games within a 24-hour stretch, it's like pretty much a doubleheader for us.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It'll be a fun weekend up there. I'm looking forward to see the basketball Hogs play. Now, they play tonight, I believe. They open up tonight.
Against a good team, against a program that's used to winning some games in North Dakota State. 23 wins this year. I think it was 26 wins the year before. And, I mean, they're going to Kansas for the second game of this road trip to the Midwest for the Bison. So, yeah, I mean, we're got to be excited about basketball season starting, right? It's not just doom and gloom of the football loss to Liberty and maybe not a bowl game and all of that. I mean, you do have two good basketball teams that open up the season today. So we can celebrate that, right?
Absolutely. Looking for. We miss Traylon Burks still. That's speaking of the football, we do miss Traylon. That get out of jail free card you could throw it up to him. We miss that. But man, I'm excited about this basketball team and to see the young. I think it's got to be so tough to be a college basketball coach these years. Right now, with you get 3 or 4 just studs in, then you got to try to find a way to keep your older guys. But you only getting these guys the way the system's set up for like 5 months, and so you're trying to get 4. You're trying to get all these guys to gel together and to get them going at the right time. Coach Musk he's been doing a heck of a job. So I'm excited to see how this team because whatever we see tonight is probably not going to be what this team is here in about 2 months.
Matt, I want to open up something that you just brought up football wise. I was moving the conversation of basketball, but you brought up the offense without Traylon Burks, and I wonder what sort of a difference would he make on this team right now? Hazelwood is a steady wide receiver. I think Jaden Hazelwood is one of the steadiest players on this team for the entire season. Matt Landers had statistically a good game, 6 catches, 119 yards, had that long 60-yarder. But still, passing 284 yards. It felt like it took a long time to get receivers open at times. The 4 sacks, I'd say 2 or 3 of them felt like they were coverage sacks, and KJ not pulling the ball down and running. What sort of a difference do you feel Burks could have made, like in a game like that yesterday? When you're trailing and had a terrible first half.
Right. So last year the one thing that Liberty did really well was throw that back shoulder fade. It's tough to cover, but whenever you're a quarterback and you're not vibing well or something's not going good, and you can see Marcus Monk out there, you can see Traylon Burks out there, you can see a Richard Smith, a George Wilson, you see your guys out there. A DeCorey Birmingham, I know I got to talk to him the other day, but it just helps you when you got your guy. You got your Traylon Burks, who is just a stud, and we're missing that kind of – we get out – it keeps the offense going. It's like, all right, it's all – I think he did that in the Ole Miss game last year, had those 2 awesome catches back-to-back, but he did that in multiple games. He had 66 catches for 1,100 yards last year. And 11 touchdowns. I don't know that we have anybody that's on pace to even close to that.
No.
But we're better as a group, but we don't have that guy. Our best receiver, which he's got it going on. We got Hazelwood and Landers. I'm not saying that, but they're not Traylon Burks. You kind of miss that stud out there.
Hazelwood, 44 catches, 12.5 yards per carry or per reception. In 44 catches last year, I think Burks would have had close to like 18, 19 yards per reception.
It's by committee this year. And, last year it was a one-man show out there. I don't think we had another receiver that had over 400 yards, and we got 2 of them that have over 500. Landers and Hazelwoods are studs. They're good, but you don't have that one guy. It's just a little by committee, and then
would Burks have mattered all that? Look, it wasn't every throw that KJ threw short of the sticks. Some of them were the second interception just looked like a bad decision. He didn't see the safety and threw it right to him. But there were a lot of throws that were short of the sticks. And I don't know if Burks could have done much about KJ's arm not being what it usually is.
And what it would do here, Phil, is if you had a guy like Burks out there, you have to account for him. You have to put 2 guys on him, and then it definitely frees up your other guys to make plays. And then when you see him, it helps the run game. And when you see him mess up and put one guy on him, you're getting the ball to him. And that's what and because they'll get in a situation where you'll see him. I'd see Monk have 2 people over him, and I'd still tell Monk, I say, I'm gonna fit it right in there, and he'd go up and get it. Like, it's just because you trust him so much.
And he must have loved knowing he was going to have a chance to show it on 2 defensive backs too. All right, got a couple callers on hold. Calls and texts come in at 877-377-6963. And Sterling is up first here in hour number 2. Hi, Sterling. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. A quick recap on the weekend. 1-2. The Jacksonville Jaguars came through. That was looking shaky. But the other 2 games was pushes with Atlanta and the Commanders. Arkansas let me down terribly. Messed up a bunch of parlays. And that was the biggest disappointment of the week. And lo and behold, the hated Longhorns came through for me. So one of the big go buy whiskey and pour it on the ice cream week, but it was it was a even week so you can get ready for next week. But I'm going to let everybody else beat up on the Hogs today. I want to talk about those Astros, and I'm not an Astro fan by no means. I'm a Cardinal fan, and you know it, Phil. But I got to tip my hat to a team that goes to the ALCS 6 years in a row, 4 pennants and 2 world championships, and you only have 5 players off the championship team in 17. 5 players. I mean, you lose people like George Springer, Zach Greinke, Garrett Cole, Carlos Carrera, Michael Brantley, who I don't know what happened to his career. You lose those guys, and you replace George Springer with Kyle Tucker, a Gold Glover. You replace a $30 million man in Correa with Jeremy Pena, who wins the ALCS MVP and World Series MVP.
A rookie.
And the pitching staff that they got. I read somewhere where they the guy that signed all these Latin pitchers is now working as assistant GM to the Marlins. Well, somebody needs to go pay them. Somebody from St. Louis needs to go down there and double his pay and bring him to St. Louis. You remember that time we was in St. Louis field where we got in that trouble for trying to spy on the Astros. Now you see why we were spying on them.
Well, they've built a great organization. I mean, you remember it was a while back that they did a total teardown of the organization. Yeah. Heck, it was like 9 years ago. They were an embarrassment for 3 years because they wanted to be. And the Cubs did the same thing. There have been other organizations that have done the same thing, but nobody's had the same staying power as the Astros for these last 6 years. And just looking into the future, there's nobody in that division right now that's really going to challenge them. They're going to rule the American League for another 6, maybe 6 or 7 years.
This team only have one free agent on it, and it's Verlander. And I look for them to sign him, but if they don't, so what? I mean, just like you said, they load it and they load it for years to come. Love y'all show, guys, and have a great day.
All right, Sterling. Good luck with your picks next week. I know we'll hear about it later on this week on Halftime. Robert's up next. Hey, Robert, how are you?
Hey, guys. I would love to see Verlander leave and come to the Dodgers because we got money to pay for him. Since y'all were talking about that real quick.
Well, maybe are they going to sign Kershaw, or are they going to go after Verlander?
I don't know, because Kershaw right now, like you and I have talked about, his numbers are great during the end season, but once he gets in the off, he's shaky. But I hope he stays. I hope he does. And the Rangers were even brought up for Kershaw. But other than that, Arkansas, we just played a ranked team. I don't lay blame. I mean, that was a ranked team. They came in there and Breeze, like everybody said, he was applying for the Auburn job or looked at it. People wanted to look at him. He's an SEC coach. It's a good program, and we got beat. That's all there is, We'll just see what happens this coming up week, though. LSU, just beat Bama, so maybe we can catch them on a high. Y'all have a good one, guys.
All right, Robert, good to hear from you. Thanks for that call. And Colby is next. Colby's in Fayetteville. Hi, Colby. Thanks for the call.
Hey there. How you doing today, guys? I was calling just to say I feel like there's a hidden gem on this Arkansas roster we don't talk about that much, and that's Trey Knox. I mean, this guy, time and time again, you said we don't have, which mind you, the numbers aren't going to be statistically there to Trey line, but it seems like he's the safety blanket when it gets to the end zone. And he just looks really, really good to me.
I'm a Trey Knox fan. He just for some reason it's like he's not in the game plan some games though. He's a absolute stud. He's just a football player that you're going to pick first. Like if you're just saying who do we want on our team, yes, you start with him. He's a stud.
Yeah, and I love this Hog team. I understand everybody's got criticism. I love Pittman. I love Browse. I love Odom. To me, none of them can do no wrong because 3 or 4 years ago, we were begging to win 4 games. So, to me, the fact that they've introduced the fan base to this new style of winning we weren't accustomed to for a little bit. Like, I get we have a
what
bump
is this
in the road,
new style of winning though? Who have we beat this year?
That's part of my question.
Who have we beat? What game have we beat this year? When you say
I think what you want to see. I mean, look, your SEC wins have come against South Carolina, and they're and Auburn, who's just not good. And I think you want to get to the point. That's why last year, there was this feeling like Arkansas is emerging in the SEC West. You had wins over Mississippi State, over A&M. You came
is
awfully
our
close
best win
against Ole Miss.
Cincinnati, Phil?
LSU.
Is our best win?
Yes.
Yeah, that's our best win.
I think so. And that's part of the issue with this loss is it isn't against an SEC team. Liberty's good, but there feels like there is a reason why we all discounted, their record and the opponents they had played. But they are better than we thought. I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due. It isn't just that Arkansas played poorly and got out-coached. It's that Liberty out-coached Arkansas and was better than them on Saturday, just flat better.
On your home turf. Yeah, it's tough.
I get where it comes from, but all right, I'm still listening. I just had to call and
thank you.
Just brag
right,
on them a little bit.
Colby.
I understand we don't want to brag, but y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Colby.
We're all. I'm bragging. I mean, we like that. I'm not calling for anybody. It's just it was a bad loss, man. It's just they got to bounce back. We got some players on the team. It's just, what do you say? You got to just you as a player. You don't even watch the tape. You just go. You go run your sprints and you go say, let's go. What are we going to do? Let's go. You can't even think. I mean. You learn just like a win. You celebrate a victory for 24 hours, just like a loss. 24 hours, then you move on, and that's it. But we get to talk about it for 5 days.
It's up to us to
right?
live in the glow of what happened a couple
Exactly.
days earlier. Yeah. Well, this is definitely going to be a week where we'll take the box score on Wednesday and ball it up and throw it out and burn it and flush it down the toilet all at the same time. 877-377-6963 if you want to get on the show. Hey, with the rain that hit us over the last couple of days, your car might have been hit by a falling branch. I know mine could get hit by that. I got to give a call to Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair. Michael, his family, and his team will fix it up and not leave town. You can always count on them. Not one of these pop-up hail damage places that pack up and go once the business is slowed down. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is a business you can trust. They will remain in the community, taking care of their customers every day, every week, every month, and every year. So stay local and stay with the best in the name you know and trust, Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair. You can check them out on Facebook. Halftime back after this quick break.
They call me Mellow Yellow, quite rightly. They call me Mellow Yellow, quite rightly. They call me Mellow Yellow.
Deep three on the way, and it's good. Outlet to Devo. It is over. Down goes Auburn. The number 1 team in the country is defeated, and they are rushing the court at Bud Walton Arena. They are rushing the floor at Bud Walton Arena. Don't dance on that hog. Hey, don't do that. No.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate and worried about your cost rising? Interest rates are rising and you may have a problem. Farm Credit can fix that. Talk to Farm Credit about locking in a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. We're offering the longest terms in the ag industry. Talk to Farm Credit today. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Looking for a new ATV? Then you sure don't want to miss the 1+1 sale going on at Auto Finders and Adventure Oklahoma in Roland. Buy a new 2022 CF Moto during their 1+1 ATV sales event and receive a free 2-year warranty that includes a 1-year factory and 1-year CF Moto Care extended protection. See Auto Finders and Adventure Oklahoma in Roland or view a complete list of inventories online at AutoFindersOK.com, where your search ends and adventure begins. Offer does not include Gen 2 C-Force 400 and 500 models.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using a Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Hardee's new Charbroil Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroil Double Deal starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
This is Max Avery, and I approve this message. Inflation is out of control, violent crime is on the rise, and the opioid epidemic is only getting worse. It's become clear that we need to make changes, and the time is now. I'm running for state representative because I understand what you're saying, and I aim to make a difference. When we unite and focus on the issues at hand, we can make a positive impact on our community. For far too long, the people of District 49 have not had a seat at the table at our capital. I believe we can drastically cut taxes and still balance the budget. I believe we can have safe city streets while taking big steps to keep fentanyl from taking the lives of our loved ones. I believe we can pay our valuable teachers better and give parents a choice on where and how their children are educated. If you're unhappy with how North Fort Smith has been represented for the past decade, then I am the candidate for change. If you believe we can do this together, I ask for your vote on Election Day, November 8th. My name is Max Avery, and I'm running for state representative. Paid for by Avery for Arkansas.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I feel like we've got to give callers names on the intro of the show, too, because you guys have just kind of taken the show and run with it today. Any prep, anything like that? We didn't need to do any of that kind of stuff, Matt.
We got some other good games to talk about. You know, there's some other college games to.
What games?
Right.
Only thing I've heard is Arkansas Liberty. That's it.
I don't. It's we got all week. We got all week. Notre Dame whooping Clemson.
Good.
LSU over Bama. TCU staying undefeated. Georgia doing what I said. I mean, it's just look at your boy out there, man. You know what? Oregon. I mean, if they win out, like you think with the, I mean, are they the best one-loss team, Oregon? We haven't seen them play much, Phil, because the West Coast, but we know their quarterback. We know how good he is.
Dude, the Pac-12 race is kind of nuts. You got Oregon, USC, and UCLA all one loss. USC and UCLA, of course, play each other. The winner of that game probably gets Oregon in the Pac-12. You could see a Pac-12 team in the college football playoff.
Bama's
done. It could actually happen this year.
Bama's LSU not going to slip up and lose. Bama's done. They're not going to get back in there. Is that you think you got enough faith in LSU to beat Arkansas and A&M to get to Atlanta?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I mean,
Two programs that aren't having the year they thought, right?
Well, let's flip it around though a little bit. Think of what's happened the last 2 weeks for LSU. They have had these two. It's 2 weeks in a row. They've played an arch rival in Ole Miss and another arch rival in Alabama. A couple of night games, Baton Rouge Saturday night, and everything with that. They've rushed the field for both of them. Now they're in this position where they're ready to celebrate an SEC West championship, and they still have two league games left. I don't know. Prime for a letdown is the way I'm sort of trying to lay that out for you here. We've seen this happen before with Arkansas and LSU. And maybe even worse Arkansas teams have pulled off that upset over better LSU teams. Let's get to the phones. Dennis in Fayetteville is up first. Hi, Dennis. Appreciate you holding.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right.
Doing well, thank you. Hey, I am not a fair weather fan, and I'm certainly not a moral victory guy. But I just want to point out one thing. Last year, this team got every possible break that they could have gotten, maybe with the exception of the 2-point conversion at Ole Miss. But this year, they have not gotten a single break. I mean, when you think about it, they're probably a foot or 18 inches away from being 7-2. And I don't think anybody who watched the fourth quarter of that game Saturday would have given Liberty a snowball's chance to win that game in overtime.
We were winning that game in overtime. I think we were the momentum had changed.
I guess what I'm saying is, we potentially would be 7-2. I know we're not. But if we were 7-2, we wouldn't be talking about firing coaches. We wouldn't be talking about – we'd be trying to figure out how we could possibly win the West.
You just got us losing to Bama and Mississippi State. Is that what you're saying? Is it like
that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Those were I had those as losses before the year started. And as banged up as the secondary was, I certainly don't think we had a chance at all. And we still may lose, the next two. I don't know, or two of the next three.
We're going to get 6. We'll find a way to win one of these.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous for people essentially to club this year off of last year when we got every possible break, didn't get a single break this year, and all of a sudden the sky is falling. So just my 2 cents worth. And I agree with you, Phil. I think we got a great shot against LSU on Saturday.
I'm only going off of a little bit of hope and the knowledge that sometimes you're primed for a letdown when you've had 200,000 fans run on the football field 2 weeks in a row, and the emotions that go along with that. And I really appreciate your phone call, Dennis. Thanks for holding. Things might have gotten a little tougher though against LSU with this arrest of Miles Slusher and Anthony Brown. Brown, of course, doesn't really play. Slusher is, your starting nickelback, and he's going to be suspended for this week for the incident that happened Sunday night.
Ouch. That's no good.
Sam Pittman announced it during his Monday press conference just a few minutes ago. So no Miles Slusher this weekend.
It's time. You know what it is? It's an opportunity for somebody else to step up and make a play. It's an opportunity for somebody to go out there and earn some playing time. That's how you got to look at it. If you're these defensive backs and I don't know what scheme it may be. I think our defense is playing decent enough, and maybe you make it a little simpler for them, and maybe you let them try to fly around and make some plays. We're gonna have to try to make some plays and get a couple turnovers, Phil. I mean, if we're talking about trying to win this LSU game, we can't start slow, and we're gonna have to have some breaks go our way.
All right, Eddie Eduardo is here. This is going to be a quiet Eduardo. I'm pretty sure of it. Not fire and brimstone. Eduardo, rough one on Saturday against Liberty. How you doing a couple days later?
Well, I'm still a Hall fan, sir. I've been through it before. Some bit disappointing loss. No more in this one. This one certainly has to go up there on the decades. But listen here. You got to look at your teammates in the eye. Ultimately, they're the ones playing the game. Yes, to me, I'm still questioning some play calling up there, but I'm not the head coach. There's two plays, to me, this last caller just called, right, we're probably a foot and a half away of being 7-2. You're exactly right. But up the middle is the only thing he ever calls in the red zone with K.J. Jefferson. I don't like it. Just look at the game. Every game's different, but look at LSU. A gutsy call by Coach Kelly. He rolls out. It's a loose play. Roll your quarterback out, and you either keep it or throw it to your tight end or receiver, and they catch the ball and win the game. I don't like the up the middle. If your quarterback's banged up, why didn't you play somebody else? Give you a chance. I heard Coach Pittman. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not on the sidelines. I didn't hear what was said. But if your quarterback's not producing, I don't care who you put out there. You got to put somebody out there to give your team. They couldn't complete a ball hardly for 3 quarters. He didn't look himself. He didn't even look like he could run the ball, and then you didn't do nothing about it. That's on the coaches. Let's say this. The offensive line, let me say this. That was one of the poorest performances over the decades I ever witnessed by an offensive line team. We got 3 games left. I heard Coach Pittman say this year that he's got a slogan, a plaque on his wall, that when you come play for the University of Arkansas, you're not only coming to play for yourselves, you're representing the good people of this state. Is that representing the good people of this state? Let me tell you, this team come in and physically beat you in the trenches. Well, you're 4 inches, 6 inches taller than every player on their defensive line. You outweigh probably every defensive line player on Liberty by probably a good 60 pounds. I don't know what the stats are. I've been pretty close. And you got physically whipped for 3 quarters. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If that performance, we got 3 games left. It's imperative we go to a bowl. And it still can be possible. But I'll tell you this, Coach Pittman, you did the right thing, suspended. I said this morning, you can't let discipline get out of the way up there either. What I would have done, I know it was homecoming, I would have walked in a locker room and said, cancel homecoming. After all the crowd cleared out, let's get back on the field. And if you don't bring that mentality, you will not go to a bowl this year.
All right, Eddie, appreciate you calling. He built himself up, and he got to the fire and brimstone and everything. Eddie, it's always good to hear from you. Thank you for listening to our show. Yeah, I mean, Eddie started to give credit, to Liberty in some cases, and then went to the idea of, you're playing for the state of Arkansas and everything, which they know. And look, we pointed out the whole idea of the size of the defensive line for Liberty against the size of Arkansas's offensive line. And, Matt, we can point to size. It's only part of what goes on at that line of scrimmage. And the scheme that Liberty drew up, Arkansas never had an answer for it. There were a couple of times, man, where it looked like Rocket got going on, I think it was back-to-back runs that he ran I think it was over tackle. And then the next thing you know, as you got a little bit of offensive momentum moving forward, KJ finds Knox in the end zone, right off his hands. Defensive back picks it off, momentum over, and you never got the running game going again until the fourth quarter. So it felt like the size and the speed. You keep learning in this game of football. Size is only part of it, and some of these defensive players for Liberty were incredible. This Darrell Johnson, they played defensive end for them, had a tremendous game. Is that because Arkansas's offensive line didn't play well? Yes, but there's a reason too, and this is because Darrell Johnson just outplayed them no matter where he lined up.
You remember a guy, is it DeMarcus Ware, played for the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
He was the best defensive line. We played against David Pollock. There's all sorts of defensive ends. He played at Troy. He's the best defensive lineman that went against, and he went to college. So yes, some of them get there, and I don't think you see it as much now. But what happened? He was a stud, man. He's a guy that's going to play on Sundays. I mean, it's not fun to watch as a Hog fan, but it's fun to watch as a fan of football, to see guys that are that young, that good, and their potential, and see what they can. That dude, he's a stud.
I just think it feels so jarring to watch an offensive line that has played so well in so many moments this year, just not like that. I mean, it happened from one week to the next. You had a pretty good game on that line against Auburn, and then, boom, things just kind of fall apart against a school that a lot of people aren't even sure where it was located. Eddie, and again, good to hear from you. 877-377-6963. We'll break here and get back to the calls and texts in just a moment. Cold water bass fishing, a thing right now, so you need to make sure you got the Umbrella Flash Mob Junior in your tackle box. It's made by Pradco Fishing Lures in Fort Smith, and it's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad. You work it from the top of the water column to the...
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lamley has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard. Unlike those other companies, items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience.
I lost all my money but a $2 bill. $2 bill, boys, $2 bill. Lost all my money but a $2 bill. I'm on my long journey home. There's black smoke rising and looks like a train, boys, looks like a train. Black smoke rising, Lord, it looks like a train. I'm on my long journey home. I lost all my money but a $2 bill.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Adam from Wynn used that phone line to text a question. Yes, I did say LSU rushed the field back-to-back weeks. It makes sense. 2 losses for Alabama this year. Both have been field rushers. Tennessee and LSU. They rushed the field after beating Ole Miss.
Who did?
It does. LSU did 2 weeks ago.
Even
Brian Kelly. Even Brian Kelly said on Monday that he didn't think that was the kind of win that necessitated rushing the field, but they did it anyway. I'll tell you why they did it. I'll tell you why they did it, Matt. Because it's LSU, because it's Baton Rouge on a Saturday night, and because fans they're crazy there. They wanted to be on the field. That's the only reason why.
You're going to mess it up for everybody else. You don't get more than one regular season fan rushing field, regular season game, maybe every 3 years. Like if you're rushing come on now. You acting like that ain't man, y'all should kind of be, that's kind of embarrassing, man, doing that. Like y'all acting like y'all ain't won a game. Well, I didn't know. That's crazy.
It was weird. It was crazy. That's why it's like it felt. The cathartic thing is beating Alabama, is taking control.
I understand that one. Yeah.
Yeah, not the Ole Miss game, not at all. Brent in Stuttgart's been on hold for a bit. Hey, Brent, thanks for the call and for your patience. You're on halftime. How are you?
I'm great. Well, it's a great Monday, but I wanted to talk. And Matt, great to hear you back on the radio, my man.
Thank you.
Because I don't know if you remember this, but 1 year I was your academic advisor in the College of Education and Health Professions.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going great. And Matt, I had a question for you, because you played football at the highest level, and my dad coached at the highest level at the university, offensive line for Danny Ford, and in the Hall of Fame, Razorback Hall of Honor and State Hall of Fame, and played on the national championship team. And I had a question for you. If you're the head coach, correct? If you were Jack, I'll give you Jack Del Rio at the Jaguars. I believe he was your head coach, right?
Yes, sir.
And if David Garrard hadn't practiced all week, and Jack Del Rio would not give the decision up to, I believe your offensive coordinator was Dirk Cutter. Is that correct?
We had Carl Smith for my first couple years, and Dirk Cutter for 2 years. For my 4 years I was there. Yes, sir.
Okay, but either way, Jack would not have said, well, Carl Tater Smith, it's up to you whether
Tater was the man. He was cool.
Garrard plays or not.
He was cool.
I'm of the opinion Coach Pittman, he may trust his assistants, but he has veto power over anything they say.
Head coach gets the final say-so on everything. I don't know. I've never been on a team where the head coach didn't have the final say-so over everything that goes on with his football. Yes, sir.
I just think between us that I've never seen our offensive line get dominated like they were Saturday, and they said it was because they showed a stunt that Arkansas had never seen before. That goes on the offensive line coach, Cody Kennedy. Get on the grease board and get it drawn up and tell your guys how to block it, correct?
It sounds to me, Brent, like, Coach Pittman was describing it as a twist from the outside.
Hugh Freeze is a good coach, man.
Taking away that stretch run, and they said, what I remember him saying, Brent, is that they knew what was going to come. They blocked it up. They practiced it throughout the week and then didn't execute it during the game.
Well, I just think last week was a lost cause for some way for our practices, because it doesn't sound like we had a good walkthrough Friday, and we don't have a good And Matt, you know this. You practice like you play, or you play like you practice.
Brent, there is a point that you just made that I want to cut in for a moment. And there was another thing that Sam Pittman said. It sounds like he wasn't expecting a loss to Liberty, but based upon I think the walkthrough. You said there were some mistakes made in the walkthrough Friday that they usually don't make. It sounds like the team might have been unfocused going into the game to begin with, because I don't remember him saying those kind of things. Usually it's we practiced well during the week, this and that. But, I mean, he did say that there was something he noticed near the end of the week where it just didn't feel right. And then it played itself out on Saturday. And look, that's on the coaching staff. If the team is not ready, if they're not focused, if they're making mistakes in a walkthrough, critical mistakes that they usually don't make, then who takes the blame for it? I mean, it is the coaching staff, and this coaching staff, they will wear that blame. Sam Pittman put it on himself like a blanket on the press conference today.
Well, I will say this before I go. The honeymoon is over. This is strike one. This is the first game Sam Pittman lost that he was supposed to win.
Double digit. What was it, 14 and a half points?
14 and a half.
Yeah, that's not good.
Now, Brent, to that point there, and on the phone calls we've had on the show today, I agree with you. I think in many fans' eyes that honeymoon is over. And when you go into a season with expectations, and those expectations are to have somewhat of a similar season that you had the year before, and right now, that probably, that unless you run the table here at the end of the season, you're not going to have it. And this loss against a team that you were 2-touchdown favorite, yes, I do hear that today, that the honeymoon might start to be over.
I will let y'all go with this. If it wasn't for Quincy McAdoo's block punt, we end up getting beat 21-3.
Well, he's a good player, and he made a play. So you win as a team and lose as a team, and yes, and he gonna be fun to watch, isn't he? I'm glad he's on our team.
Brent, good to hear from you. Thank you for the call, and thanks for helping out Matt as his advisor. You've done well with him.
Hey.
877-377-6963. I have a feeling you both look quite a bit different from those days where you sat across a desk from each other, Matt.
Man, college days, huh? 2001. Ooh.
That's right. We're brought to you by The Fence Man. If you own a business that needs more security, or you just wanted to have more curb appeal and look better for your customers, well, a new fence from The Fence Man does both. They've been in business more than 40 years, custom installing all types of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. And the Fence Man also offers 18-month same-as-cash financing. Call them up at 479-782-3936. For the Fence Man, he ain't afraid of no work. Hour number 2 comes to an end on halftime after this.
No more, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source, LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source, LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source, LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue, behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Who's hungry, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. And this month,
I'm serving up heaping helpings of deals on Rath road-ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. So right now you could save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car, based on the price of the car you choose. It's our feast of savings, and these deals are all gravy, so if you're sick of your old ride, toss it like yesterday's leftovers. Come in today, and you can save up to $4,500. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. So pull up a chair at my feast of savings, and you can save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car. But hurry, a deal this hot will cool down fast. Only in Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Fall has arrived. That means woo pigs, tailgate parties, apple festivals, and pumpkin spice, and everything nice. Don't miss the fun because your car won't run. Drive into fall with automotive maintenance and repairs you can trust from W&W Automotive. This is Mark at W&W. We offer affordable repair solutions for all makes and models, foreign or domestic, including front-end work and alignments. Call me or Kelly at 242-1600 or come see us just off of Townsend on South O in Fort Smith. That's W&W Automotive, a bumper-to-bumper certified shop.
The Arkansas Fraternal Order of Police stood tall and unified this week to urge voters to vote no on Issue 4. They're calling the campaign misleading to voters, and they warn of the harm it will bring to our children, along with even more unintended consequences we cannot afford. Stand with the police and vote against Marijuana Issue 4, paid for by the Family Council Action Committee.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Heading out to San Francisco for the Labor Day weekend show. I got my hush puppies on. I guess I never was meant for glitter rock and roll. And honey, I didn't know that I'd be missing you so. Come Monday, it'll be alright. Come Monday, I'll be holding you tight. I spent 4 lonely days in a brown LA haze.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Maybe you want to change the words of this song to Tuesday, please? Today feels almost like a continuation of Saturday, to be honest. But at least you got basketball tonight, 6 o'clock the women, 7 o'clock the men. Totally different schedules for these two teams because the men, so you got 12 games before SEC play begins. You get 8 of those games at home and the other 4 on a neutral site. Women's basketball, he played 2 fewer league games in the SEC for women's basketball than the men's side. So they'll have 15 games before starting SEC play. And Nabes has them with 7 home games out of 15, 3 true road games, including tonight, and 5 neutral site games. Matt, I've lived in this state almost 22 years. I would have never expected to see an Arkansas Razorback team of any kind playing at UAPB in Pine Bluff. In fact, I wonder the last time that any Arkansas team actually played in Pine Bluff, was that the famous game against number 1 North Carolina and Michael Jordan?
I couldn't tell you. UAPB, they I don't remember playing them there in any sports, but I know
they just started playing them. Last year football, 2 years ago baseball. Baseball.
There you go. A little baseball play.
Hasn't been to Pine Bluff though. They have not been there.
I don't know, Phil. Yeah, that's. I couldn't tell you last time they've been down there.
Yeah, I would not have expected. There's a lot of things you don't expect, but I think Nabes will have this team battle tested before they open up conference play. All right. So I mean, you got to be excited about the start of basketball season, for crying out loud. You're ranked 10th in the country. Is everybody forgiven or forgotten about the loss to Texas in the exhibition? Doesn't have any bearing on what's about to happen here, and I still think it was a good thing. I really do. Piss the team off a little bit, get muss on them early. I mean, we've seen this coach be so good at refocusing a team after a disappointing performance, and now you get to do it against a pretty good mid-major team.
Do you feel like it's a true number 10 ranking, even though we have so many new faces on the team? Do you see any room that we're going to have a letdown? Or it's a real
it's a tough question to answer. I think so much of this, I think with so often preseason rankings, they're so difficult to trust. But you go by the talent level on this team, from the recruiting class and from what I've read and seen, little pieces of Anthony Black and Nick Smith and the rest of this incoming freshman class, and then to look at the production of a Jalen Graham in the Pac-12, of a Ricky Council with Wichita, and the size that to me it does feel like a legitimate top 10 ranking, because I trust the thoughts that Nick Smith Jr. is supposed to be a top 3 draft. If you got one of those guys on your team, and he's not the only talented player on this team. We've seen other years though where like an incoming top overall pick or projected to be a top overall pick barely played. I don't think that's the case with Nick Smith. James Wiseman with Memphis, that was a whole different situation. Michael Porter Jr. with Mizzou, he just could never stay healthy.
Right.
With Nick, everything's on the up and up with recruiting, and we'll find out. Whether he's able to stay healthy.
Yeah, I like this group, Phil, of a mixture of some young and old, and everybody going to have to know their role. I'm excited to see how they evolve over these. What we see in these first, and we make the cliche, and it's kind of true that the football team is as good as that third. You make your best progressions week 1, 2, and 3. How long does it take this team to really gel where they're really going? And it must seem to be good at that.
He is. And Bruce makes a good point on our text line here. Arkansas men's basketball opens the season 10th in the AP poll. Arkansas football reached 10th in the AP poll. And it has gone downhill ever since. So sometimes you can't trust the rankings even 3 weeks into the season. You can't trust that we're opening up the phones in hour number 3 on halftime, 877-377-6963. We'll be right back.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
As we prepare for winter, Americans are concerned about heating their homes, gas prices, food costs, and our future. That's why I'm fighting for more American energy, better jobs, and to fix the mess in Washington. Developing our own resources means more jobs, a stronger economy, a cleaner environment, and more security. Working together, we can rebuild this great country we call America. I'm Congressman Bruce Westerman, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Westerman for Congress. For 33 years, Manfield's Automotive Parts City Auto Parts has been trusted as your one-stop for all your vehicle needs. Get a great deal on a Superstar battery and any of the products you need for the do-it-yourself upkeep on your car or truck. When you need work done, Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts does everything from oil changes, brakes, alignments, diagnostic work, air conditioning, and more. Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts in downtown Mansfield is open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bushville. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bushville. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Light.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine across the north. Our high temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Further south, we're looking at clouds, a chance of showers, a few storms, and a high into the low 70s. Cloudy skies, low 50s north tonight, upper 50s south, and then an increase in the sunshine on Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
It is all about the Hogs right now. Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris Fort Smith, from the Busch Light Studios. This is ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I put my heart up. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down,
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
LSU's coming into town with the co-offensive player of the week in the SEC, Jaden Daniels. Freshman Harold Perkins is the SEC defensive player of the week. Mason Taylor is the co-freshman of the week. It feels, oh man, LSU is a 3-point favorite according to Bet Saracen. For a team that's as hot as they are, only a 3-point favorite on the road. Someone had texted in earlier that Matt, that they feel like maybe Vegas feels that LSU could be prime for a letdown too. But you know, after that win over Alabama, it's really kind of shocking. What a game that they played. Got a chance to listen to a good chunk of it on the way back from the loss to Liberty, and it was pretty amazing. Every time Alabama answered in that fourth quarter, LSU did the same. They got such an incredible playmaker with Jaden Daniels, Matt, and he is a playmaker with his legs and with his arm. I think he's the best quarterback that Arkansas plays the rest of the season. And somebody else texted in earlier about it's Jonathan Bennett, essentially a third stringer for Liberty. He played pretty well against Arkansas in that first half.
Yeah, we couldn't really couldn't really rattle him. I did enjoy the college football Saturday. Other than Arkansas not showing up late to the game, and I do think if we could have got that overtime, if that gets in there, then the momentum had shifted, and I do think we were going to win that football game. But looking around, man, Georgia looked like, oh my goodness, like they still hadn't. I mean, it's like Tennessee. That was
6 sacks, Matt. They sacked them 6 times.
Never got comfortable. Tennessee didn't look comfortable not one. They made them uncomfortable the entire game. Couldn't get anything going, and that's Georgia defense is scary. I don't know who wants to play them. That offense, they can get going. Their quarterback's very capable. And they're talented. Georgia always reminds me of LSU. Just talent everywhere. It's just there's talent. Now that I guess they've had probably better quarterback play. Although lately LSU has, but there's just everywhere you look, they're talented. Notre Dame getting Clemson, Phil. I don't know if you got to see any of that, but talk about never looking comfortable. I mean, that was Tennessee. I mean, Notre Dame just was. Their defense. I mean, they did just enough on offense because Notre Dame's kind of sloppy, ugly. Kind of, they weren't that. They're not that good. But man, they made Clemson not look good at all.
Notre Dame's got a chance to be a spoiler. The last game of the season, they play against Southern California. It's not a banner year for Notre Dame by any means, but I mean, they might have. I mean, Clemson's not removed from the national playoff conversation yet. One loss doesn't necessarily do you in.
That was a
but
bad.
What they need
yeah.
is. It's a bad loss, but they need help. They need help from somebody else. And basically, somebody's got to beat TCU. Like, that's the way a one-loss team gets in. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the conversation of TCU that has Texas, Baylor, and Iowa State coming up. And very well could be undefeated going into the Big 12 championship game. I just want them to win out the rest of the season so I can hear the arguments about, you can't put TCU in the playoff. Come on, they're TCU. Who cares about them? I mean, what about a one-loss Clemson? What about a one-loss Southern California? It's like, come on. Power
One-loss
5,
Tennessee?
they're in this whole thing. They're going to get in.
You got
TCU's going to get in. An undefeated TCU team is going to make it to the playoffs now. If you're one of the last 4 undefeated teams left, you're in. You're in.
Michigan goes undefeated. TCU goes undefeated.
Well, Michigan, they said there's not going to be 4. That's the thing. Either Ohio State or Michigan gets an L. Either one of them.
There you go, because they're going to play at the end of the year, huh?
Right. So,
That's
I mean,
true.
There's going to be that conversation.
TCU, Georgia,
there's to be a one-loss team that makes the playoff.
Michigan okay. So you're right. I'd have Tennessee ahead of Clemson, though, right? I mean, do you have the one-loss teams? Do you have?
I do, and the win over Alabama is the reason why.
They're the first one-loss team in. Tennessee would be, so they're at 5th. Is how you got it?
Yeah, that is. I mean, it'll all play itself out. Let the semifinals essentially begin. Each loss for a team that's undefeated, essentially that was a playoff game for them in some ways. But yeah, I mean, you're going to end up with. Look at the rankings here.
Man, it was a fun week.
It was a fun week. I love seeing undefeated. I love seeing Alabama lose. I love seeing Clemson lose. That's fun. That is a lot of fun for.
Well, it was good. It was good football too. That Alabama LSU game was a good football. Two good quarterbacks playing. I after the game was over, I honestly, you kind of thinking, which quarterback do you want? Like they were kind of both. I know the Alabama kid's the number one. He's the Heisman Trophy guy, but I was impressed with the quarterback from LSU.
Well, you realize like how close Alabama is to being undefeated and, being on that path for another game against Georgia. Look, and I know it's not going to happen, or maybe it doesn't, probably doesn't, but they are I forget how long the field goal was that Tennessee hit to beat them, but they're that length of a field goal away, and they're also the 2-point conversion away this past Saturday, but they were also like they probably should have lost to Texas. So it's all been on the road for Alabama.
How is it?
Given the idea that those 2 games in the SEC were at home, maybe it's a different conversation.
Yeah, it's the Bama fans. I mean, because they're done. Yeah, do they check out? And I don't think they do. But they Ole Miss. I mean, how do they show up to this Ole Miss game? Are they checked out? Or are they going to get out there and play? Lane Kiffin, is he? That's going to be interesting.
Well, I just can't imagine that Saban allows them to check out. That's the thing. I mean, you should know who the coach is. It's just they haven't been in this position in a long time. Alabama now,
and they're
fourth season with 2 regular season losses in Nick Saban's tenure. Think about that.
They lost these 2 games by 4 points combined. Yeah.
Yes, 4 seasons out of 16. That Saban's the coach there.
Now they can really say the season
regular season loss.
They can say the season's they're 18 inches off. There is what you're saying. Yeah, they really are. Yeah. We're kind of reaching. Yeah.
There's no doubt. So let's look at a couple of the plays in the Arkansas season that might be turning points of games. The KJ fumble at the goal line against A&M that without question changed the direction of that game and therefore changed the direction of the season. That should have been a win. You would have already been bowl eligible even with the loss to Liberty. And who knows, if KJ scores that, does Arkansas win the game? I don't know. Probably so. There's that, and then you point to maybe if Trey Knox holds on to the reception in the end zone and it doesn't turn into a lost opportunity and an interception against Liberty, maybe that's a game-changing play too.
The block punt.
There's such small things. Small things.
That block punt to get us to 5 points, that would have been a big. We come back and win this game, Phil. That would have been a big play of the game as well.
Text coming in at 877-377-6963. JR in Peel. Clemson's overrated based on the product this year. He doesn't think they've looked good against quality opponents. Well, they are one of the one-loss teams that's ranked a little bit lower at 12th.
That was a bad loss, Bill.
35-14. Yeah, I mean, close shave against Syracuse, close against Florida State, tied against a good NC State team. I don't know. There have been moments I watched some Clemson football and thought that they looked like a national contender at times, but probably not going to be now. I just don't see a one-loss Clemson out of the ACC making it to the playoff at the moment. I think you may end up seeing at that point, like if it comes down to one loss, Southern California or UCLA, winner of that game. Or, of course, it's going to come down. Maybe the Pac-12 champion really has an opportunity now.
Oregon goes away, yeah. I mean, that Georgia loss is bad, but Georgia does that to a lot of teams.
Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, TCU is the final prediction for the playoffs, according to Jackie in Cherokee Village. 2 SEC teams in. If they're undefeated, no doubt. I don't think it's a guarantee. Look, Tennessee losing to Georgia by a couple of touchdowns. Yeah, you could see it. They're going to need help, though. They're going to need help. But a one-loss Tennessee could make it in there. Calvert thinks if LSU wins out, including the SEC championship game, and Georgia wins out, beside the SEC championship, you'd have a one-loss and a 2-loss SEC team in the playoff. No, I don't think there ain't going to be a two-loss team in the playoffs from the SEC. Once you get to 12 teams in the playoff, sure, I think you could end up seeing a 2-loss team make there. And a text out of the 479 that wanted the Matt Jones Premier League Minute.
Ooh.
Hey, we had an MLS championship over the weekend. I mean, I didn't watch any of that, but congratulations to the LA Galaxy. Or was it? It wasn't the Galaxy. It was the other team in LA, LAFC, that won the MLS
Gareth
championship.
Bell. That's what people start talking about. America. America's never had a person as good as Gareth Bell. That dude. And then you got Adam Lallana, that Wells team, man. They're going to be tough, man. It's going to be. I like Weston McKennie. I like Christian Pulisic. We're going to be okay. We'll have some people that can make some. Weston McKennie, he's fun to watch at Juventus. I don't know how much Italian soccer you guys watch. Are they Italian football you guys watch?
Not too much, but ever since you joined the show, my Italian Serie A football has gone up.
Yeah.
It's gone out about like 5%.
I watch less than you do.
What's their league called? I thought it was
Series A.
Serie A.
Serie A. Yeah, Series A, whatever.
They don't pronounce it A in Italy.
Yeah, because I thought it was Juventus. It's Juventus, yeah. The old lady. That's their nickname. They're the old lady. How do you not love them?
And that was your Matt Jones Premier League Minute. All right, we're going to step aside, and from Saturday Down South, it's Connor O'Gara joining halftime after this.
She cares, say it ain't so, I will not go. We'd like our program to reflect our state, the great state of Arkansas. Loyal, tough, hard-working. One of our goals every year is to make the state of Arkansas proud of the football team. In my office is a sign that says you're not coming to play for the University of Arkansas, you're coming to play for the state of Arkansas.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Deer hunters, rifle season is almost here, and Jelco Outdoors just received another large shipment of box blinds by Lazy Man, Hawk, and Earth Blind. All blinds are assembled with 6 and 10-foot tower option. Hunt in comfort this year. Check out the large selection of box blinds at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
I'm Steve Womack, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message. Growing up in Arkansas, my American dream meant following a path of service. It's why I proudly served our nation in uniform for 30 years, deploying overseas for our country following 9/11. As mayor of Rogers, I led during an unprecedented time of economic growth and development. I brought these experiences to Washington. As your congressman, I've never missed a vote. I fight every day for the rule of law, smaller government, lower taxes, the Second Amendment, and the unborn. In my appropriations role, I've delivered funding for the extension of I-49, expansion at XNA National Airport, career and technical training programs, and a Veterans Center. And the team I've assembled in Arkansas is simply the best in helping 3rd District Arkansans with issues at the federal level. As a proud Arkansan and conservative, I'm asking for your vote and the opportunity to continue this dedicated record of service. Paid for by Womack for Congress.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. WOW World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
From the very beginning, large landowners and homeowners have recognized the incredible value for the build quality Bad Boy mowers are known for. Everyone deserves a better finish cut, and at Alma Tractor in Alma, we invite you to compare a Bad Boy mower, pound for pound, price for price, and you'll find yourself mowing with an attitude. That's Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma, or check out almatractor.com.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Well, not an animal, something like a cannibal, a very flammable and partially repairable.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South, national columnist at that website, joins us on Halftime, as he usually does on a Monday. Connor, we're trying to pick up the pieces after an unexpected loss to Liberty. It was disheartening, to say the least. in the context of the season that Arkansas is playing and the direction of the program. There were some other big games, definitely, involving SEC teams. But I got to get your thoughts on Arkansas Liberty first.
Yeah, I was wondering about this. Is there,
I lost him for a moment there. I lost Connor for a moment there. Might have some bad, either that or he wasn't quite sure what to make sense of it, which I found myself doing the same thing occasionally here. Yeah, we'll get Connor back here for a moment, but I almost thought like he didn't really know what to say, and that's been my feeling at times throughout today's show. Yeah, we're getting him called.
Well,
back.
I mean,
is on the up and up.
Be a little speechless after this. I mean, it was a good week for college. I mean, for a college football fan, there were some fun games out there.
We got you back, Connor. Sorry about that.
My bad. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I was trying to think about this in the context of what that game was. 2 touchdown favorite. Arkansas coming off of consecutive impressive road showings. Is that the worst win or worst loss rather of the Sam Pittman era? I mean, in terms of how deflating that was. Yeah, it just felt like, and I understand, when they got the number next to them and you're an AP top 25 team, that's not going to be like in the history books. We won't remember it in that same sort of way. But just how it happened. I mean, to come out and look that flat, and an offensive line who, coming into this one, PFF had Arkansas's offensive line graded as the highest in the country, and they just got dominated up front. I mean, Hugh Freeze for his offense, and if it would have been one thing if this is kind of a back and forth game and Hugh is just kind of in his bag and dialing it up, but man, they just got pushed around, and that's so disheartening to see because what I think we've praised Sam Pittman for is having his team kind of buy in and locked in and disciplined, and that team did not show up ready to play, and they looked like they thought they were going to be able to kind of run through things, and it was going to be a cakewalk, and I think it was, kind of a top-down failure, and there's not one specific player, one specific aspect of this team that you could look at and say, oh, yeah, it was entirely on them. I think it was on everyone, and I think it's really tough for Arkansas fans to stomach.
I think you're right. Fair. I mean, you win as a team, lose as a team. I think the offensive line probably played their worst game. KJ didn't look sharp. I don't know if it was a change in the tide or the moon, but it was tough to watch. Do you think it's just Liberty is better than what we thought in Arkansas? Maybe we're missing Traylon Burks. I don't know. Maybe we're just not as good as we thought.
I think it's part of it, and Liberty deserves credit. Like they absolutely do. I mean, they showed up really ready to roll, and Jonathan Bennett, a guy who came into the year as third string quarterback, looks pretty good, and still you're able to kind of look up and think, all right, well, Arkansas has a chance because we've seen this movie before, and it was shades of Missouri State. And I said coming into the week, it was probably unfair to make that comparison, even though, comparing Petrino to Hugh Freeze is kind of an easy dot to connect for SEC fans. But I think it was still an unfair comparison to make because one was obviously an FCS team and one has actually earned its way into the AP Top 25. But, that's kind of where they've been able to hang their hat this year is defensively. And, Arkansas should have been able to run the football. That's what a lot of this comes down to for me. And it's almost like they get into some of these spots, and when KJ isn't used as a runner as much because it's perceived lesser competition, they kind of get out of their offensive way, and they just look really out of sorts. And we've seen that happen throughout this year. So yeah, I mean it's a problem because there's not one thing that they can really fall back on, and they're not a team that is built to come back from a 3-touchdown deficit. They're just not. That's not the way the offense is set up, even though I think KJ has made some nice mid-season strides in the passing game. So, yeah, it was, I mean, one of those days in which you're just kind of scratching your head going, man, this is not exactly what we had in mind, and you thought Arkansas was going to be kind of in the clear and set up to have a nice little run to end the season.
Connor, please tell me you think LSU is primed for a letdown. Back-to-back weeks, rushing the field. They're in command of the SEC West. Brian Kelly is shedding tears with fans running behind him and everything. Primed for a letdown this Saturday, right?
No. No, look, I mean, guys, I would love to sit here and pretend like this LSU team is going to keep Arkansas in this game for 4 quarters. And you know what? Maybe they will, because LSU has had a bit of a tendency to get out to some slow starts, although they've kind of worked past that. If you look at what they've done in recent weeks, even coming out as strong as they did in that game in the Swamp a few weeks ago, I think LSU has turned the corner in a big, big way. And it's because, a subject that we talked about a lot with KJ Jefferson coming into the year, Jaden Daniels has had to learn how to trust his receivers. Kayshon Boutte came into the year as a preseason All-American, and for the first part of the season, man, he was uninvolved. And instead, you're seeing now Jaden Daniels trust him, trust all the guys that they have on the outside, Jack Besh, Brian Thomas, and defensively, they've kind of figured out their identity with Matt House. The matchup that you're going to want to watch, Harold Perkins, the 5-star true freshman who just gave Bryce Young everything he can handle as a spy, pass rusher. He does it all. And they kind of just say, hey, that quarterback's holding on to the football. You go after him, and you get him, and you make sure that he doesn't take over. And that's what he's going to try and do against KJ Jefferson. LSU's playing some tremendous football. The job that Brian Kelly has done this year, everybody comes in talking about, he's not a culture fit, and he's not going to belong in Louisiana, blah, blah, blah. No, dude's just a winner. He's won nearly 300 football games as a college head coach for a reason, and I think LSU is poised to be able to get a win against Arkansas.
Well, I had Georgia over Tennessee. That was it was a tough game for whoever. I really had whoever that game had the home team would probably win it, but Georgia looked good. What were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I did not have Georgia against Tennessee, and I've been on the record for the last 4 months saying that I thought Tennessee was ready for this. This is Tennessee's time. I thought the way that they matched up on the outside, if you're going to beat Georgia, similar to what we saw with the Tennessee-Alabama game, if you're going to beat a team like that, you need to get touchdowns when that opposing defense makes those mistakes and they have those busts in coverage, and Tennessee is capable of exploiting that. But the defensive performance that we saw from Georgia, I don't think there's been a better one from anybody in the playoff era. I mean, it was
they were uncomfortable
remarkable.
The whole time. You're right. The entire time Tennessee looked uncomfortable.
Like that's me. We haven't seen them at all look like that for even a quarter in some of these games. And a rhythm offense like that, they go up tempo just like Arkansas does in a different way, obviously, but man, it just felt like Georgia was so good at getting home. They disguised blitzes. When Jalen Carter, the preseason All-American, is playing at that kind of a level, it just makes such a difference. He was the one who had the hit on Hooker. That should have been a safety. I don't know how it was.
What was that? That we talk about bad. That was a bad call by the refs.
Just a terrible call. And it's been 20 minutes reviewing it. You're like, what are we doing?
And still got it wrong. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, terrible. But Georgia is far and away the number one team in the country. They have the clearest path to a national championship. That all but locked up a playoff berth for them. In my opinion, that is going to make their case so much more convincing come Selection Sunday. And I think if you're picking against anybody right now to win a national championship, I think that's just saying that you haven't watched Georgia a whole lot.
The SEC is in the best position to get a one-loss team into the playoff. And there's going to be a one-loss team in the playoff this year. There's no doubt about that now. So, Tennessee still has this chance, and maybe in that case, the team that makes the SEC championship game, whether it be, it's going to be Georgia now, and it might be LSU, probably will be LSU. Like LSU can't get there with 2 losses. Tennessee cannot play for the SEC championship and still make it.
So that's where it gets interesting because LSU still has a path to the playoffs. LSU definitely still has a path to the playoff because if you beat Alabama and Georgia in the same season, you're going to get in. I mean, 2017 Auburn was the best example of that, a 2-loss team that had to beat Georgia in the SEC championship to get there, but had 2 losses coming into that game and would have made the playoff had they won that game. Obviously, it's a different year, different context, but yeah, I think LSU in that conversation with Tennessee is a difficult one because LSU would have 2 losses and one of them being a blowout loss at home to Tennessee. So how would you tell that Tennessee team that it's not worthy? And if LSU beats Georgia at a neutral site, it would just make things really, really complicated for the selection committee. But yes, the SEC right now has 4 teams that still have playoff life if you include Ole Miss, who, oh, by the way, gets to play Alabama this weekend. We'll see if Alabama's angry or we'll see if Alabama's a little bit disinterested.
Who do you think outside of the SEC is it? Can Michigan, are they for real? They looked a little sluggish early and then kind of got it going on. Ohio State, same kind of thing. Can you think either one of those guys can compete with the LSU, Tennessee, Georgias?
I think Ohio State has the best chance to. Ohio State was my preseason pick to win a national championship because of what Jim Knowles was bringing over from Oklahoma State. They paid him $2 million to basically reinvent that defense, and he has. But the problem with Ohio State so far, and we saw it in the first half in a very windy, rainy game at Northwestern, that their offense has been a little bit touch and go. And I don't know how much of that you can just pin on not having Jackson Smith and Jigba, but it just seems like their offense has been a little bit more herky-jerky than what we expected coming into this year. And so, Ohio State, I think, can compete with those teams. I don't think Michigan can because, look, I was there in Miami last year, and that wasn't a team on the level of Georgia. It just was not. And there was no doubt who the better team was by day's end. And I think that this year it would be set up for a very similar situation, even though they obviously have the 5-star quarterback this year, J.J. McCarthy. But, yeah, I think Ohio State is the only team really outside of the SEC that can win a national championship.
Let's see. 2 losses for Alabama this year. They're razor-thin losses, both on the road. Could have won either one of those games. So, I mean, I hear people talking about the foundations of the Alabama program are shaking and, the dynasty is over and all of that. They're this close. They're this close to being undefeated. Yeah, but let me frame it this way, because yes, you're exactly right. And if you want to look at it through that lens, that's perfectly fine. But Alabama, since the start of 2021, 10 of their 14 SEC games have been a one-score game in the fourth quarter. They have been playing with fire since the start of last year, and that is what this team has done. And more often than not, they've gotten away with it. They're 7-3 in those games, and that includes losing this past weekend to LSU. But I mean, go to the A&M game where A&M's got to play on the goal line to win the game, and it's a terrible play call. And they've had these spots where Texas, if they miss that kick late, we're talking about Alabama losing that game to Texas even without Quinn Ewers. So they have been in these spots before where you can't expect to go undefeated when you're playing in such tight games late, even when you do have the best player on the planet to be able to bail you out of those situations in Bryce Young. And you run into a team that on both sides of the ball just isn't afraid of you, and you run into, and this is the key thing, you run into a coach that's not afraid of you. Brian Kelly going for 2 in that spot, all or nothing play in that spot, man, I can't give him enough credit, and he dialed up the exact right look to throw to a true freshman tight end. I mean, just incredible stuff to put faith in his guys like that. So, I think Alabama's been playing with fire, and we've seen the cracks in the foundation for a bit now, but they've just been able to overcome them in the past. All right, Cubs fan, Dusty won a World Series, not with the Cubs, got one with the Astros. I feel great for him. I think Cubs fans probably would feel, God, man, it's 5 teams for crying out loud. I think all of them feel good for him. They just wish it happened with their team. I know, man. Look, I've always felt so bad for Dusty and watching him in that inevitable, he inevitably will pound his fist on whatever sort of bench structure he's leaning on when his team loses in the playoffs, and then he swallows a toothpick or something like that, and you're just like, oh, Dusty, man, it doesn't have to be like this. That's the lone silver lining, I think, of watching the Astros win the World Series, is that Dusty Baker finally gets to exercise those demons and win one. But, yes, happy for Dusty. That's about my only real interest from a rooting standpoint in this World Series. Yeah. Hey, Connor, appreciate you. Have a great week, and we'll revisit again next Monday. Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. You got it, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. I tried to set him up, Matt. It was like, come on, look at all these reasons why there's a letdown for LSU. He wasn't having any of it. Not one bit. He does not. Yeah, Alabama, he was ready for it. He was like you had emailed him that question. He had the stats. He knows his stuff, man. I like talking with him every week. He's good. I'll tell you something else is good. Lark, you've probably tried it at your tailgate or your watch party recently. You know Lark, the full-spectrum seltzer brought to you by Ouachita Farms, with a perfect balance of hemp-derived THC and CBD. No alcohol in Lark, no sugar, no carbs, no calories. You can still catch a buzz without the booze, and it tastes great. Strawberry, guava, mango, grapefruit, and berry. You find Lark at your local adult beverage store, and you can have it shipped to your doorstep. To do that, go to larkhemp.com, and you got to be 21 years of age or older. More Halftime coming right back.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe. And football is in the air, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, we'll go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
The people have voted, and Evans Body Shop has been recognized. Voted best in the River Valley this year and 5 years running best of the best independent body shop. We are so grateful for the support of our community. EBS has hundreds of 5-star reviews and countless satisfied customers. We invite you to experience a customer service level that sets our shop apart from the others. Call or come by today to see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Christina Katsavis is running for Fort Smith City Director-at-Large, position 5. And if you live in Fort Smith city limits, you can vote in the August 9th citywide Board of Directors election. Christina is a small business owner, wife, mother, volunteer, and community leader. All regular polling places will be open from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. A vote for Christina is a vote for your voice. Vote Christina Katsavis for Fort Smith City Director-at-Large, position 5. Ad paid for by Christina Katsavis campaign.
Back out of Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Voted best of the best in the River Valley when it comes to new car dealership. Got my buddy Ray with me. And, you know, Ray, if someone's looking for a Bronco Sport or a new truck or a new Expedition or a new Mustang, Randall Ford's a place to shop because we're not just going to show you pictures. We actually have them in stock.
We actually have them in stock. We're super excited about them. We want to show them to you, not only test drive them, touch, feel. You want to see why they're the best-selling vehicles on the market.
You know, Randall Ford's been doing this for a little while, and, you know, being voted best of the best, there's a reason for that, Ray. Family-owned and operated, 114-plus years, same family. You don't stay in business if you're not doing something right, huh?
Exactly. We don't see it as a transaction. You're not a customer. You're our guest. We're going to take care of you.
Perfect. Just come by and ask for Ray?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Come by and see us. We're at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Don't forget, you can always shop us online at randallford.com.
This is Max Avery, and I approve this message. Inflation is out of control, violent crime is on the rise, and the opioid epidemic is only getting worse. It's become clear that we need to make changes, and the time is now. I'm running for state representative because I understand what you're saying, and I aim to make a difference. When we unite and focus on the issues at hand, we can make a positive impact on our community. For far too long, the people of District 49 have not had a seat at the table at our capital. I believe we can drastically cut taxes and still balance the budget. I believe we can have safe city streets while taking big steps to keep fentanyl from taking the lives of our loved ones. I believe we can pay our valuable teachers better and give parents a choice on where and how their children are educated. If you're unhappy with how North Fort Smith has been represented for the past decade, then I am the candidate for change. If you believe we can do this together, I ask for your vote on Election Day, November 8th. My name is Max Avery, and I'm running for state representative. Paid for by Avery for Arkansas.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
He's got a clover charm placed around his neck. Makes a man feel lucky like he's a prince. And everybody knows when he walks in the room, there's a rhythm to the way that he moves. That's the way that I believe in him.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I hope you guys in studio are ready to do the show by yourselves tomorrow, because I'm going to win $1.9 billion tonight. And when that happens, you guys are on your own.
Heck yeah.
For the remainder of time, for everything. It's just going to disappear when that happens.
See you around, huh?
You're not one of these people, Phil, that says, well, I'd still come to work even if I won the lottery. The only people that say that are the people that really have no faith.
They're trying
that
to change it. They're trying to do the reverse psychology, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that they're out of here.
I'd give you guys enough money where you could go on a vacation and maybe we'd just have dead air tomorrow during the show. Why not?
That'd be all right.
I'm nice. I'm nice. Yeah, it's just a cool. I hear though, if you win the $1.9 billion, you're still not really a billionaire.
They take that much in taxes.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, I think the way that you really are, like, everybody tells you you're supposed to take the lump sum, which is what, like half the amount that you won.
It's like 40%.
So
I think because you got the tax. Yeah, it's like you get like 40% of it or something.
I would buy us all brand new equipment for our shows. How about that? I'd still work.
Could you get us some internet that works?
Too much of a busybody.
You could buy all the airtime you wanted. Yeah, we'd do whatever we wanted.
I don't know.
Milkshakes, bubblegum, and baseball cards is what I spend it all on.
So I don't usually buy lottery tickets. I bought one last Wednesday, and then, of course, obviously it didn't win anything. And then the weekend one came out, I was just like, forget it, I'm not doing it again. And now here we are, it's $1.9 billion. Should I? Because the truth is, I'm really just wasting my money because I'm probably not going to win anything at all. So I'm just spending money that I don't have.
Yeah, but you're still getting that. So what you're buying basically like 5 seconds of excitement. That's what you're buying with your money when you're buying a lottery ticket.
Now, do you just?
I'm also buying letdown too.
Do you let them choose your numbers, or do you choose your numbers?
I've started. Well, when I do it now, I only bought one. Mm-hmm. I chose my own numbers.
How many numbers is it? What's
I think it's 5 and then a Powerball number, and then there's some power play.
And do they have to go in numerical order, or what's the rules?
No, they pick 5 random.
So you can pick 32, then you can pick 5, and then the Powerball can be just whatever number 2. Could it be the same number as another number that's been drawn?
Yes.
I am sensing here, Matt, you have never purchased a lottery ticket.
I've never. Yeah, I'm not saying that somebody won't say, "Hey, do you want to go halfsies with me on?" And that they, but I don't.
But you've never done it yourself.
I don't know how. Yeah, I wouldn't.
You can just turn this
I've done a scratch off,
thing, and they'll pick all your numbers.
I'd say now I don't feel like that's going to work though. Like I
so
want
far
like
that's
you.
never worked for me.
I want to pick my own numbers. Yeah,
I feel like what you're buying. So with anytime you're putting money on anything, you're buying the excitement of the opportunity to win. So why with Bet Saracen is the top sports gaming app in the state. You go on your Bet Saracen and you start putting your money down, and what you do is you're buying yourself a certain level of excitement for Saturday for college football. You win or you lose, you bought the excitement of the juice, of what's going on there. When you're buying a lottery ticket, like, you're planning everything that you're going to do with the money, of course, and then you turn the television on to watch the Powerball drawing, and you get the 5 seconds. How long is that quote-unquote show that they do the Powerball? Is it like 2 minutes long? You have 5 seconds where your ticket is up in front of your eyes, and you're like, all right, I've got as many right as everybody else does right now. And then 5 seconds later, game, set, match, you didn't buy yourself anything. And basically you're hoping to get like $12 back.
And I never even watched the drawing. I just wait until the next day and I go to the gas station and scan it. And it just tells me whether, it just tells me I'm a loser right there.
There's a nice way to say that.
We're paying for scholarships. Scholarships.
I did good. It was my donation.
Jody thinks I'm not trying to sell lottery tickets. I'm just telling you what you're buying with it, because you ain't going to win. You're not going to win. I hope there's a lucky person out there in the state of Arkansas that wins this whole thing, or is one of the handful of people that gets 4 numbers or 5 numbers and maybe ends up with a few $100,000. Otherwise, how are those 3 seconds of excitement? Was it worth it? I feel like I want to go by, because you don't want to be the one that was left out.
Especially if the winning ticket is right at your local convenience store.
Somebody else got it. That could have been your ticket.
You're like, man, that's
right.
the store I go to.
And how do I know I didn't win if I never bought a ticket?
Got to buy a ticket.
Like, man, I'm in that come and go every single day, and I could have bought one, right? I don't know if they buy them or not, or if that's where they sell them in some cases. It's like, oh, I get it. Like that was my money. That was my money that someone's walking around with now or planning around with.
Speaking of gambling, either one of you guys bet on the ponies or go to Hot Springs? Because did you see the stud was? I don't even know the horse's name, but they said it's the best horse ever.
The last time I went to a horse
Flightline.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, so I guess I did. I've been to Oakland once. I'm not a big fan of it. I went to Memphis, South Hay, or what is it? The dog racing track.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah,
so
they don't do the dogs anymore.
I'm not a big fan of that.
But the
think
rabbit, yeah.
But I ended up winning some money. But I realized later on I was betting on races that weren't even happening there. It was like I was betting on like
that's funny
dog races in other states. I did end up winning, but I'm sitting there watching races that don't have anything to do with it, and I'm betting on stuff that's not there.
Half the time I bet on the horse's name or if there's the gray horse. My mama bet if there's the gray horse or you bet on the jockey.
Oh, you do the way that I bet on football
March
teams.
Madness?
I
Yeah.
buy the mascots.
Oh, by the mascots, right?
The
Yeah.
cutest mascot.
Yeah, I like this name. I'll go with it. It's like the horses never finish better than 8th. Yeah, we'll go with it.
Or we could all be the most famous sports bettor on earth and be Mattress Mac, who won. What did he win? $75 million, I think I saw in this World Series.
What?
And he hedges his bets to the point where he would have won something anyway. But I don't remember if he's given away free mattresses this time or not. I think he usually does. Yeah. We could all be Mattress Mac and have that much money. Hey, take the $75 million, put that entire set of winnings on the Powerball. Because last I checked, $1.9 billion is more than $75 million. That's what I'd do. If I won that much money, it's just a tiny bit more. Your odds probably just rise so incredibly much, so much more from, like 5% chance to win to 7% chance to win if he upped it to $75 million. I think we just don't know what that feels like. Rod has given us a call here, 877-377-6963. Rod, thanks for the phone call. How are you?
You bet. I'm fine, you?
Outstanding. Better now that you've called.
Yeah, the Powerball is interesting. You get 40%. If you take the cash, you get about 40% of $1.9 billion after your taxes, legal fees, and all that crap. Odds are 174 million to 1.
It's not bad.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Rod, you sound like a guy who has played the Powerball a few times.
And you always play the same number, and it's odds and evens. So if you got like 3, you got 16, you got like 19, they do add sometimes. And sometimes it's a division. So, I've been playing for,
What's your biggest win?
Powerball, 5,000.
Nice.
Really? How many numbers do you have to get $5,000?
Well, back in the day, you got four numbers plus a Powerball, and then, you get a percentage of that. But, and now, you win 5 numbers, you got $250,000. Now you win 5 numbers, it's $1 million. So it's gone up quite a bit, right?
Do you think you've made up all your losses by that big win?
No. God, no. I've spent probably $30,000 on water in my life.
Yeah, we've all been there where we're doing that math. We're like, I just won $5,000. How much have I lost in my lifetime?
My wife won $5,000. I bought the ticket.
Well, good luck. Good luck for the remainder of your gambling existence, Rod, and appreciate your phone call and letting us know what's up with those odds. JW is up next. This will be our last call of the segment. JW, how are you? What's new?
I'm doing great. I got a theory about this gambling kind of thing when you're dealing with lotteries and scratch-offs. My thing is that you're better off buying $5 and $10 Arkansas scholarship lottery scratch-off. And the reason why, if you look at the odds, your odds are a lot better than on the big Powerball thing. But also, if you lose, you're still getting money to a kid to go to college. I think that's a win-win. That's what I look at. And I've won enough so that, I don't mind contributing.
Now, the way this works at JW is that you win $1.9 billion, and then you pay for every child in the state of Arkansas to go to college until the end of time. You just give it to the University of Arkansas.
Very, very cool.
Okay?
Very cool.
Yeah, and you still have a little left over for yourself. And appreciate you, as always, JW, who gives us a call from London. this lottery minute has been brought to you by. I want to tell you about Bet Saracen, your favorite sports betting app across the natural state. You want to put a little wager on the Monday Night Football game tonight? Bet Saracen right there on your cell phone. And they've got New Orleans plus 105 on the money line. Baltimore's favored by 2.5 for the Monday Night Football game. Over-under is 45.5. You can get NFL, college football, NBA basketball as well. Follow the odds, favorites and underdogs all week on Bet Saracen. And realize that the Vegas odds might be one thing, but you got to be in Vegas to legally bet those odds. Arkansas law prevents all the other big national apps from operating in our state. So for the most accurate and up-to-date sports wagering info, you got to have the Bet Saracen app. It's simple. Just go to the App Store. Got it for Apple, got it for Android. Download Bet Saracen or go on a web browser. BetSaracen.com will do the same. You can also be sure to check out the really cool video of how to play featuring Jancy Sheets. Halftime to wrap up after this.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South 0 Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
The Arkansas Fraternal Order of Police stood tall and unified this week to urge voters to vote no on Issue 4. They're calling the campaign misleading to voters, and they warn of the harm it will bring to our children, along with even more unintended consequences we cannot afford. Stand with the police and vote against Marijuana Issue 4, paid for by the Family Council Action Committee.
For 33 years, Manfield's Automotive Parts City Auto Parts has been trusted as your one-stop for all your vehicle needs. Get a great deal on a Superstart battery and any of the products you need for the do-it-yourself upkeep on your car or truck. When you need work done, Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts does everything from oil changes, brakes, alignments, diagnostic work, air conditioning, and more. Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts in downtown Mansfield is open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Doesn't appear to be much breaking news any longer. If you missed it earlier, Sam Pittman announced that Miles Slusher and Anthony Brown will be suspended at least for a week for an incident that occurred overnight Saturday into Sunday on Dixon Street. So Brown hadn't been – Anthony Brown's not, really a guy that plays very much, if at all. But Slusher's the starting nickelback. So been playing a hot team at LSU coming in on Saturday at Razorback Stadium.
After a loss like that, should they have really been out on Dixon Street anyways? Maybe you should go home and think about it.
Just sit in the corner, dunce hat on, look in the corner and just think about what you've done and what you didn't do. Yeah, you got to be able to go out and at least, hey, it's homecoming, something to celebrate, right?
Didn't Eddie say they should have just canceled the whole thing?
They should have just canceled all of homecoming. By the football game, I think most of homecoming has been taken care of. So we did find out you got a night game on next weekend against Ole Miss, so that's good news. 6 o'clock kick. Be the only night game of the year at Razorback Stadium in the SEC. Hey, the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast coming out sometime in the next hour. Ruskin and Zach will take you from 2 until the Learfield pregame of men's basketball, 6:30 here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. The game is on ESPN tonight, so you don't have to find it on any of the streaming services. As long as you got your ESPN, you can watch Muss and the team take on a good North Dakota State team. I'll be in Pine Bluff. Arkansas opens up the season for women's basketball against UAPB. I saw that Corey Beck's daughter is on the UAPB roster. Karaya, former Fayetteville star.
Nice.
She transferred over there after playing at Memphis the last couple of years. So, yeah, you got a good connection there.
I got to see Corey Beck this year, and talk about a fan favorite, Phil. Everybody is a Corey Beck fan. I mean, he had wherever we were, man, he was the rock star of the group, man. He was super cool.
Well, that's certain. Well, we'll be talking about a little bit of the women's game and a lot of the men's game tomorrow on halftime and everything else happening, including Danny West to join us because Arkansas did get good news yesterday. A commit from a 2024 top defensive end prospect. We'll talk with Danny about that tomorrow. So that's halftime for this Monday. Thanks to all the callers and texters for basically doing the show for us this afternoon. That's what Mondays, I guess, are usually about. So for Matt Jones and for Matt Travis and everybody else on halftime, I'm Phil Elson. Have a great rest of your Monday. That's your halftime. Now get up, get out, and get better.